weeks ago. He's been
and that's what Matthew
club.
Lappin alluded to this week as well.
And rightly so, because he has been the captain of the club. You need to lead by the right example if you're a captain of a football club. I've got no doubt both parties will split ways.
Jared, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's much left in the game for Lance, unfortunately. I think despite the fact that he's trimmed down a fair bit, you can't get away from the fact that he's not a great athlete. And whilst he, in another era, has a football brain that's of the highest order, if you can't motor around the ground these days, it's very difficult to sustain a position in the side. So there's a fair bit of discussion on Lance Whitnell, I think, not just at Carlton but at other clubs, whether or not they'd give him another try before his career is absolutely over, but he's put the whole thing at risk at the moment.
Which would open the door for Nick Stevens to be named as captain of the Carlton Football Club next year. He was in the running earlier this year. He's standing by right now with Lee Colbert.
Thanks, Clinton. I'll ask him that one in a very short while. But, Steve, a pretty young side going out there today for Carlton.
Yeah, it is. It's great to see some of the young guys get an opportunity. And, Mark Austin plays his first game today and Shawnee Hampson played last week. So it's good to see how the young guys go and show them what they've got to get to for next year.
Mark's a pretty tall backline player. Is that where he'll play mostly today?
Yeah, I'd say he might slot down back. But the good thing about him, he can go forward as well. And, he's got good pace. And, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Mate, some good news for you. Last week, signed for another 3 years at the Blues. Great stuff.
Yeah, mate, it's good. The club showed a lot of faith in me, and I want to repay that faith next year and get back and have a super year, and hopefully get the Blues back to where they want to be.
Rats, great signing. Obviously, you'd be all happy a champion of the club. But what's the most impressive thing so far you found about Brett?
Rats, I've been able to get in the coach's box with him, and just his understanding of the game, and the way he reads the game, you can see why he's such a great player and how he's going to make a great coach. And he's just brought the boys really together, and they're playing as one.
The boys mentioned off the top about captaincy. Big Red's the captain this year. Is he likely to go on? And if there was an opening there, would you love to do it?
Oh, look, I'd love to get the opportunity one day, but I'd love to see Big Red go on and continue on and, get back to his best because, Lance, he won our best and fairest 2 years ago, so I'd love to see him back and leading the side next year.
Matty Lappin's been a great servant of the club. Goes out today, hopefully, maybe a win.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to see, for Lappo, and he's been a great player. For someone of his size to play the footy he has and play the quality of footy, it's been great. And, we've had Kuda leave plus Lappo, but hopefully the boys can get a win.
And next year, recruiting-wise, what does the Carlton Footy Club need most?
Well, I think we need tall defenders and, probably another ruckman. So, but we're just looking to get good kids into the system and hopefully get back to a powerhouse.
And Satano helping, he's improving all the time. Full-back probably again today. I know Bretty Thornton's looking forward to him coming along. Is that where he'll play, the future at Carlton, do you think?
Yeah, I think, centre-half back's probably his best position, or full-back. The good thing about the Irishman, he's so quick and he can, play tall or small, so he's going to turn out a great player.
Thanks for your time, Steve-O. Well done on the new contract. And back to you, boys.
Good on you, Lee. Thank you for that. No change to the nominated 22 for the two clubs today. Carlton and Melbourne will be going in as selected. If you just joined us, let's recap what's happened earlier today by way of the AFL in our first leg of our Sunday double from the SCG. Remarkable story unfolding. Hawthorn belted by Sydney to the tune of 72 points, 22-9 to 10-9. Hawks kicked a goal in the opening 30 seconds to Lance Franklin and then were smashed.
No Barry Hall. That's a fantastic win for Sydney going to the game. But have a look at the goal kickers there for the Hawthorn Football Club. No Roughhead and no Franklin in the multiple goals.
Well, Buddy Franklin kicked a goal in the first 30 seconds of the match, and I'm not sure what he did since, but he didn't get near it in the first half that I was watching. Hawthorn's had some horrible losses over the last 5 or 6 years, given that they're down the bottom of the ladder accumulating good players. But that is the worst loss I've seen them and the worst performance I've seen them put up for about 5 years.
Especially going into the finals. And sides like Sydney and Adelaide, they tackle and they tackle hard. The disappointing part about their loss today, Jared, you could smell it from the first quarter. The Sydney Swans players suppressed them, they suffocated them. Hawthorn just failed to run. That's a disappointing part. That's a mindset. That's a mental issue. I've got no doubt.
Yeah, it was an early choke, all right. They really have to rebound next week.
Yeah, got to expunge that from their memory. Meanwhile, across town here at the Telstra Dome, Bulldogs led the Kangaroos by 19 points at the 30-minute mark of the first quarter. They did not score at all in the second term. Kangaroos ran away with it from then on. Eddie Sansbury getting 5 goals. Matthew Robbins in his final game. Remember, farewell game for Robbins and Luke Darcy today there for the Whitten Oval boys. Time on of the last quarter, a blowout. It is a 62-point Kangaroo lead.
And Brent Harvey, one of the favourites of the Brownlow medal there, see kicking 3 goals and 23 touches. And one of those 3 goals in the last 8 or 9 minutes, Jared.
Well, whatever they were.
Because Gary Ablett won't poll this weekend.
No, he got a couple early, I think, just to keep them in touch with the runaway Bulldogs. But you can't get away from the fact one of the more disappointing aspects of this season has been the Western Bulldogs. Probably Melbourne, who I thought would finish top 6, and the Western Bulldogs similarly. Both down the bottom of the ladder, poor performances.
You're right, everyone says the Bulldogs need a power forward, and they desperately need that. But their run and carry game just hasn't been there. They've only beaten their opposition sides inside 50s 4 times for the year.
They're running side that stopped running.
Well, they have, and that's a really disappointing thing. And they would no doubt have a look at the list come tomorrow morning when the dust settles and really have a look at the list to see where they're at.
Well, they were 9-6 after round 15. As we check the ladder right now, you'll see the Bulldogs did not win after that point. So they will go to 9-1 and 12 defeats. So this will change with the Kangaroos going past Hawthorn. So next week, as the finals begin, Geelong versus the Kangaroos, Port Adelaide versus West Coast, while the other 2 matches will be Collingwood against Sydney and Hawthorn taking on Adelaide. The latter 2 will be elimination finals.
Well, just reiterating for the Bulldogs, 9-6, did you say? So they haven't won for 7 weeks.
Yeah, 1 draw in that time is their only return.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at the finals. Gentlemen, first qualifying final, Geelong Kangaroos. Everyone tipping Geelong?
Got to go Geelong.
You've got to go to Geelong, but the Kangaroos will go into that game with some confidence. They're shooting for goal a couple of weeks ago against the Cats, so they'll go in there with some chance.
All right, and that game could well be at the MCG, given Geelong's only played here twice. Port Adelaide will host West Coast after getting over them in terms of percentage yesterday. Amy Stadium next week. If you go by the credence that no one who played today should play on Friday night, that should be the Friday night game.
Well, it should be the Friday night game. A lot's going to depend on the fitness of Chris Judd and Embley in that game. If they are fit and firing, they are a real chance to win that game of football. But Port, for mine, have got 22 players in really good form.
I think we're kidding ourselves if we think Chris Judd's anything other than a forward pocket for the rest of these final series. That said, I think the West Coast Eagles can still prevail.
All right. What about the elimination finals? Hawthorn against Adelaide?
Well, right now you'd have to back Adelaide. I mean, Hawthorn have to rebound, you would think, but Adelaide are coming into this form with all that momentum that's so important.
That's a 50-50 ball game. Hawthorn have to rediscover in the space of 7 days their running game, because Adelaide, we know they're going to put severe pressure on the Hawthorn runners.
And that game would more than likely be the Telstra Dome game. As there's 3 matches in Melbourne next week, has to be one at the Telstra Dome. You'd probably say that would be it, because Collingwood and Sydney drew more than 60,000 here, 3 or 4 weeks ago in a Magpie victory in a home and away game. So that will be back here, and that's going to be a beauty.
Well, the Magpies match up well against the Sydney Swans. They've got that tall forward line, which exposes a little bit of the Swans. But Lewis Roberts-Thompson back in the side, Danny. Finals footy. I'll stick him in neck out and go with the Swans.
And the other defender, Jared, Leo Barry.
Yeah.
He's a great inclusion. The run and carry, the defence is strong. Those 2 players are going to be super important for the Swans.
So you're tipping...
I'm going for the Swans with those 2 boys in, no doubting that whatsoever.
Rowan O'Keefe was in good form.
Do Collingwood have to get back Rusling, Kreuzer and Didak to...
Well, they'll try.
They'll clearly try.
Oh, look, Collingwood, they're a powerful side. I think they are one of the great unknowns in this finals. If they get over Sydney, I think they can go all the way to the grand final. Not saying they can win it, but Buckley's you just can't get away from the Buckley factor. I know people say don't, but he's just too good a player not to think that there could be something special at the end of his career.
I totally agree with Buckley, but I look at the ruck areas and Everett and Jolly against a guy in Josh Fraser who's a very good player, hasn't played for 3 weeks. For mine, the ruck stoppages and where the Swans are good, and with their defence back to their best, I think the Swans will just get over the line.
All right, Gillan McLaughlin, Chief Broadcasting Officer for the AFL, will be joining us as part of our coverage tonight to tell us when those matches will be played and at what venues next weekend. But coming up tonight, the 176th and final home and away game for 2007, our last here at Sunday Night Football. We've had some great fun this year. Jared, here's some of the best of the highlights from our past 22 rounds.
Fisher. One more will be the killer blow. Can Bate provide it? Carlton are going to win it.
Dogs are there. Gilby. His kick smothered by Riley. Anything you can do, he said. Feeds it to Perry. His birthday tomorrow. He can celebrate now. So Petrie rucking here. Deep in the defensive zone. Osborne's desperate there. Osborne is very desperate. It's one of the best goals you'll see. Lynch. Held. Got it away. Dean Cox. They want to turn him into a goal kicker. And why not?
took a long time. Got it off to Hawkins. He'll beat it back for Chapman. From 50 out for his third. They can't be stopped tonight. A record-breaking night at the Dome. They equal the 8th highest score in league history. A 35-goal avalanche. Thumps it long. Pavlich is going to run onto this. Can he finish? Smart play. 4 minutes to go. The Dockers are on the march. Umpire says no. Might not matter. Morton's got Judd. And he's dancing away. He's toying with them. He's turning on the show. Attack on the footy so much better. Barco. Havlet going again. Bartel a third time. Hanks it out of the pack. Headlines from 50. Everything they touch turning the goals. And Havlet goes long. And Mooney will play on and dance his way to another goal. From 60 to the top of the square. Pavlich at the back. Mundy. Everton, the first gamer. Long ball, Westhoff there, caught behind Ryder. Gray. Ducks his way out of traffic and kicks a great goal. Young man on a mission. Another storied win in Robert Harvey's career. They say he's the embodiment of their motto of strength through loyalty. And on the day where he became just the 10th man to play 350 league games, the Saints reward him with a seemingly impossible victory. Penetrating kick by Young to the top of the square and from the side. Well, Hodge spoiled by his teammate Osborne, who gets it on to Franklin, who steps quickly. Oh, what a goal from Bode! Now kicks long. Petrie the target. Has he got it? Grant prizes it clear. Jones on the left. Hooks a goal. A beauty. 5 seconds. Can they take a mark and move it forward? There won't be enough time. What a win for the Kangaroos! We'll say it again. It's one of their best yet. They're into the top 4. This team that nobody respects from coast to coast are third on the AFL ladder. Sends it long to the centre corridor. Utah! Michael Newton with a tremendous launch. Oh, what a grab that was. He should run on here, Serge. He might get it back. Oh, Roden says we'll take the advantage. He's going to slip away eventually. It would be one of the more remarkable goals, and it is. David Roden, take a bow. Acrobatically, Bell did well, got the handball to Warnock. Ambitiously tries to kick to the square. Kerr the knockdown off the car, Josh Carr. Off the ground, Josh Carr's got the goal. Oh boy. The bounce important here. It favours Pavlich. Could he get a third? You bet. Wins it this time. Great start. Advantage play on. Van Berlo goes deep. Goal square unguarded. Welsh again on Thompson. They might have it now. Sheeds heading one way. James Hird, well, the other. Walking into retirement, a content man. Just lapping up the adoration from the Bomber faithful to the stage to what was a bitter end. Moments that will live forever. Happening here at the MCG on just a great footballing night.
This program brought to you by Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. LG's Clever Kitchen. LG, life's good. The Telstra NextG network. Get footy video highlights on your mobile. And the new Acer Aspire Gemstone notebook.
They began the year in celebration. Well done to the Navy Blues. confident that after 5 years in football's wilderness, this campaign would begin the ascent to what many Carlton fans have long considered a birthright, a position of prominence as one of the game's powers.
Believe it, folks, it's real. The Blues are back.
But as much success faded, so too did the optimism, and a grim reality was faced. The winter would be long and arduous.
Once again, overrun in a game they had within their grasp.
There were casualties.
We promised and we didn't deliver.
But now fresh faces emerge, a new hope as the future begins. Sharing the ideal is Melbourne. Their season has challenged even the most ardent fan, and they too have said their goodbyes.
You wonder where this puts the Melbourne Football Club in the overall.
Two teams rebuilding for tomorrow. Who will finish 2007 on a high?
That's magnificent stuff.
From the MCG, it's Melbourne versus Carlton on Fox Sports AFL Sunday Night Football.
Oh boy, it's a miracle from Bate. Superstar. The skipper's got a bag today.
Yes, the 2007 campaign has been long and arduous for the Navy Blues, no doubt about that. Matthew Lappin not playing today, but Skinny getting recognition on the banner. 251 AFL games. They were 4-7 at halfway. They've lost their last 10. Will they get a victory today? Win number 5 for the season. Also with 4 wins and 17 losses, the Melbourne Football Club farewelling 3 veterans today. Nathan Brown among those, all 146 of his AFL games coming with the red and the blue. Clint Bizzle, formerly of Geelong, 75 games there, now playing his 163rd overall today. And Byron Pickett, Kangaroo Premiership player, Port Adelaide Norm Smith medalist, and today bowing out for the Melbourne Football Club, and the Demon cheer squad recognising those 3 gentlemen with the banner. Well done and farewell to Nathan Brown, Clint Bizzle and Byron Pickett. Their teammates will certainly be lifted for them today. No doubt about that. There's no number 1 draft pick on offer for Melbourne. There is for Carlton if they lose today, but if the Demons happen to lose today, well then Richmond will get the number 1 draft pick. It is Fox Sports AFL Sunday Night Football. Colin Grimes alongside of Gerard Healy, welcoming you to the broadcast booth. And well, there's still a good atmosphere around the MCG regardless.
Always is, I think, Clinton. A lot of Melbourne supporters here, a lot of Carlton supporters here. I think all very much different emotions. Melbourne putting to bed, I guess, a very disappointing season. There could have been anything at the start of the season. There were ambitions of finals. For Carlton, well, I think they're going, putting this season to bed knowing that they're probably through the worst of it and they've turned the corner. New coach, going to be some really good draft picks, and they've already seen the emergence of a number of their younger stars coming through the system. So they'll be looking to get the best out of those blokes again today. Clearly they want to get the Kreuzer kid, Kreuzer, at the end of it. So I don't think the result is all that important for the Blues, but let's hope we get a really good match to send off 2007.
199th meeting between these two clubs. Let's check the lineup, starting in the forward line for the Carlton Football Club. Remember, no Favola, no Brad Fisher, so Jared Waite with 27 goals is their leading goal kicker this year, and Lance Whitnell has 18.
Yeah, you had a horror one last week, Lance, in front of goals. He does need, as an individual, a big game today. I'd like to look at Josh Kennedy. I think he'll end up in the ruck at some stage as well. Brad Miller probably fighting for his career. The new coach, Dean Bate, will be here watching. Ward also at the end of his career is a 30-ish. He needs to play well. It's a pretty good goal line for midline, I should say, for the Demons. Johnson, Bruce and Green. Murphy, Bentick, Russell. Well, you'd reckon Russell would go to Cameron Bruce and try and knock him out. Be good to see Brock McLean actually finish off a disappointing season. Well, Jeff White will, with I think Nathan Jones, fight out their best and fairest honours up against a less experienced Blues midfield. And Lyndon Dumble, he's got a new role as a run-with player, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
And Michael Newton in the contention for Mark of the Year, which he picked up on a Sunday Night Football game a few weeks back. Russell Robertson, their leading goal kicker this year, he'll win that award at the club for the third time. He's got 36 goals. Among the other active players, would you believe Bate with 17 is second. He's going to start on the bench for Mark Riley alongside McDonald, J-Mar and Chris Johnson, while Brett Ratton will have Grigg, Betts, Jackson and Bannister alongside of him. But all the emotion, all the sentiment today surrounding the Demon departing players. Clint Bizzle made his debut round 6 of the 1996 season. Had just one kick for Geelong that game. Had to wait 9 weeks for another start. 75 games in his 6 years at the Cattery. Moved to Melbourne for the start of the 2002 season. Today his 88th game for them, and has been, well, ruined by injury in the latter part of his career.
He has, but he's actually always been a fine clubman at both Geelong and Melbourne. I think he's led the group pretty well at various stages from that half-back line. He lost his way a couple of years ago, but all up, he's had a terrific career.
Nathan Brown, twice he's been named the most consistent player at Melbourne among those 145 games. He was best clubman a couple of years ago. Runner-up in the 2004 Best and Fairest. Just one vote he lost to Jeff White by on that day. He made his debut back in the 98 season. And what about Byron Pickett? 3 clubs, 120 games at the Kangaroos, 55 at Port Adelaide, and now will finish his career with his 29th game for the Melbourne Footy Club.
Yes, he's had an exciting career, Byron. It's had its ups and downs, obviously, but he's had plenty of great highs. He will be remembered as one of those greats, getting that classic medal on grand final day.
I was part of the voting panel that day, and he was absolutely outstanding. His careers depart at one end of the ground, they begin at the other end of the ground. Mark Austin is going to be the 1,107th person to represent the Carlton Football Club in a senior game. He's got a pretty handy number on his back. Turn around, Mark, number 21, Craig Bradley's number for the 18-year-old, formerly of the Wimmera here in Victoria and then via Glenelg.
Well, he's got an opportunity. He gets a little bit of exposure, so we'll take that into the pre-season training. That'll hopefully inspire him. And, well, he's not related to Curly Austin, but Austins have made big waves and played in premierships at the Blues before. Perhaps this kid will emulate those feats.
TAB Sportsbet telling us this is the hardest match to price in their history, dating back to 1995, such as the speculation surrounding how much the two clubs want to win. The opening bounce is coming up when we return to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's going to be some fun. Crowd building up. The final game of the home and away season is yours next on Fox Sports AFL Sunday Night Football. And Clint Bizzle winning the honour to toss the coin alongside of Lance Whitnell in the final game of his AFL journey. The 31-year-old originally from Kedron Grange in Queensland, losing out to Lance Whitnell. Carlton off to the city end right of screen to get this one underway as we check in at ground level with Lee Colbert.
Yes, thanks, Clinton. Perfect conditions here. Lights are on, and it's great for the retirees. Some of them don't get the opportunity always to say goodbye in their last game, but a couple of ex-teammates of mine are doing that today, and I wish them all the best.
Who are you tipping?
Mate, I think the D's will win.
All right. Look forward to your comments throughout the course of the afternoon. Lee Colbert from ground level. Not a bad crowd turning up. Last time these clubs met, Mark Riley's first game as Demon coach, round 14 at this ground. They won by 23 points. Russell Robertson kicking 5 goals, but Carlton have won 3 of the last 5 between these two clubs. Lead overall 109 to 87 as Carroll's wanting to get involved with Jared Wade early. Jared Wade having a fine season. Umpires are Matthew Nichols, Chris Camelins and Martin Ellis. Wired for sound as always on Sunday Night Football. Off we go for the final time this year of the home and away season.
Hang on! Carlton free kick, Cade Simpson.
And it's umpire Ellis from deep in the attacking zone
Kick off the ball. Jace,
of Melbourne pulling out that free kick.
Okay, you're behind it now. Play on.
And Simpson wanting to go via hand pass is coming out to centre half forward. This is Kennedy.
Too much space from Clint Bizzle. Kennedy's got a big reach. He's got to be right inside his jump, and that talk about reach.
Well, this could be a big day for Lance Whitnell to give Carlton fans a lasting memory for the next 6 to 8 weeks as they discuss who will be on their list next year, and he starts in bright fashion.
It was a good grab. Young Ferguson there tried to get front position, but should have just bodylined Lance Whitnell there.
20 seconds gone.
So Big Red
Can he start in bright fashion? 18 goals, 12 for the season. And he's hooked the kick. And some players, that can affect their psyche for the opening, if it's their opening kick. Johnston bringing it out. He's played 15 games of their 22 now. Going to Carroll. Moment of anxiety. Gets away from the lunging Sean Hampson. Kennedy the spoil on McLean. Good pickup from the young blue.
Up and about early, the Blues.
Yep, Kreuzer, who's had a welter of possession this year. Simpson has been good as well. Kennedy over the top, claiming it, not paid. Houlihan giving it off to Bentic. Now Kreuzer from the 50, centering ball. Russell or Whitnell charging out, putting his big mitts around it again.
Pretty ordinary defence there, Jared, from the Melbourne Football Club, allowing Lance Whitnell to run through the middle of the ground. We just see the mark here with Johnson and young Kennedy. Gee, that's a mark for mine. I thought he was over the top of that.
Was a suggestion, Danny, that the Blues had backed themselves early in the week. As Lance heads off, which threw a lot of people into some confusion, given that the accepted wisdom is that the Blues don't want to win this match because of Matthew Kreuzer. But I can tell you now, they've started as if they have backed themselves.
And they're almost forcing a turnover from the kick in, not quite. Brown was onto it, Will, driving it to Miller on the outer wing. Now they look to run. This is Jace Bode. From the logo, driving it towards space at centre half forward, running onto it, Lyndon Dunn. Can he find an opening? Good pressure there by O'Halpin. Bruce now to Jeff White, the only demon to play every game this year. Durability and results. Melbourne go forward once and get a goal.
And that's what hurts you. Now, we know it's illegal to back yourself, so it obviously didn't happen, Danny, but if you go forward and you kick 2 goals as Lance Whitnell had, all of a sudden everyone's up. Well, the Demons have responded well here with 1 shot and 1 goal.
2-goal turnaround, Jared. Simple as that. Lance Whitnell should have put at least one of those through. Lyndon Dunn, when you're down and out in Melbourne, they're trying things. Lyndon Dunn's form on the wing. Stars a half forward. I see he's there with Mark Murphy. That's a bit of a find for Melbourne. I didn't realise he had the running motor that he's got.
Yeah, he's done the tagging role the last couple of weeks, and I think that's the future for him. Dean Bate will be having a look, and it'll be a big job for Mark Murphy.
Good tackle put on by Brad Miller on Bentic. Another bounce. Jones, averaging 17 possessions a game this year, tumbles the Demons inside 50. Dispossessed was Jamison, opens the door for Bruce from a standing start, 35 out long towards the goal square. Robertson, knowing he's got about 2.5 hours to try and leap for a car, and that's about all, because his teammate might have it away from him. Here's Simpson wrapped up by Bode. Good tackling from the first-year Demon.
Yeah, he closed the space very well. Didn't give away the free kick. Thought it through particularly well.
One thing Bomberoli's done with the Melbourne football line, he's stacked his good players. Pickett, Bruce, Miller, Newton, Robertson and Paul Johnson.
All on the forward line.
No, you're hanging on, Jeff. Carlton free kick.
Ackland lays it off quickly. Simpson in the leadership group to Bentic from half-back. Short chip kick to the wing and well hung on to by White. Man alongside of him was Ward. So Jared White, 27 goals, has not missed a game for Carlton in 07. Kennedy waiting down, starting brightly, got it off to Whitnell. Punches the handball to Murphy. Intended it for Russell. He did well not to get into the back of Travis Johnston. Will get a bounce.
Looked like it was a bit high for mine over the shoulder of Travis Johnson, but he doesn't appear to have too many concerns.
So Carlton pressing. Dunn wearing Murphy tightly. Here's Carroll breaking clear for the Demons. Off to Byron. Now Johnston.
Yeah, good move into the corridor. That really has squared him up.
White to the run of McLean. Loose men down the middle. Jones presenting. So's Miller from the opposite direction, and Jones takes it.
Well, it's well done by Brad Miller. You could see Jones coming in, and he protected him.
And he goes long from 55 for the Demons. Second. Terrific goal.
You called it, Jared, the inboard kick to Jeff White. That was the key. You just go long down the line in the slow play. You need to take the game on, and that was a terrific passage of play here. Great courage here from Nathan Jones, and you're all over that. Young Miller, just aware, called him in. But this is a terrific kick. Just launched. Open forward line. Bang. That's a great kick from young Jones.
Had a bright season. The 19-year-old from Mount Eliza, whose idol is Robert Harvey. Will he play on one more year? Danny Hart?
I think all St Kilda supporters hope he does. Clinton?
Right.
I do too.
You do too.
Holding on, Mark Murphy, free kick against you, Lyndon.
Yeah, Lyndon Dunny is wearing Murphy so tightly, and he was pinged that time. As Murphy goes short, and good lead, Russell presenting out wide. He's going to chip it into the pocket, intended for Whitnell, but McLean read the situation adeptly and filled the gap. His kick, though, might be all right for Green.
This is where this kid plays his best footy. Brad Miller, he's been there before, lost his way to a degree, needs to really have a big, strong pre-season.
Good running from Dunn there.
They are cutting up Carlton, heading into this part of the ground as Newton puts it in the path of Byron. He's going to allow Johnstone to pick it up. He sweeps it back for Jones. Now Travis Johnstone. Oh, wonderful kick. And Dunn can have a shot from 35 out for their third.
Mark Murphy is Dunn's direct opponent. He just has to work out that Dunn is tagging him. Just because Dunn's going free, and when he's inside the forward 50, Jared, have to put some accountability into him.
Well, he played a fair bit at centre-half forward last year, Lyndon Dunn, so he's not a stranger down into that forward line. And just like Cameron Lincoln tag and then push into that forward 50, this kid may have found himself a role.
A goal a game across the course of his 22-game career before today. He's as good as directly in front. And that's why the kick's disappointing. 2-1 plays two behinds.
Jeff White and Brock McLean already
Byron, that's it there, Byron.
on the bench for a quick rotation.
Bryce Gibbs get an assessment on his rookie AFL season right now from you, Danny Crawley. How have you assessed Bryce Gibbs? Hasn't missed a game, averaging 12 possessions largely across the back half.
I think he's been super, Clinton, for a guy that should be still eligible to play, or he's still eligible to play in the under-18 competition, to play 22 games at this age. Look out, Carlton supporters. He's going to be a beauty in 2 years' time.
Jones running again. O'Halpin getting back. And Jamison gets the free against Robertson for hands in the back.
What he needs to do, though, is just be a bit more accountable on Nathan Jones, because Jones is BOG at the present time, and he's his man.
Jamison feeds to Bentick, goes wide to the wing below us. Is there an arm chop? Jamison going to ground. It looked like it was going to be something for Waite. Not quite. Brown, Green, now Ferguson. Back to Brown. Off to Pickett. Two of the retirees hooking up. Now Ward. Fluent build up again by the Demons. Robertson stopped by Jamison. Again did well not to get into his back. Free kick. We'll have a bounce.
Michael Jamison, I've liked his games since debuting for Carlton. He's going to be a bit of a find down the back line there for the Blues.
Play on.
Eddie Betts dropping it off nicely to centre half back. Houlihan can be the springboard here. Running for him is Scotland. Puts it out towards centre half forward in the path of Wade, who got a bad bounce. And Travis Johnstone cleans up for Melbourne. Out wide is Bode. No one coming towards him, so he can keep going. Scampering.
Some pace.
Gets to within 60. Goes long to Robertson again. Again, Jamison climbing to spoil. Bentick, Bauer, Scotland working it out of defence. Hampson goes nicely to midfield. Now they can look to build. Gibbs going out wide for Waite. It's better.
He's turning into a very, very good player, Jared Waite. Can play centre half back, centre half forward. He's a star of the future.
The next goal will be the 100th of his AFL career. 3 of them coming last week in the loss to the Kangaroos. My goodness, that won't be one.
All clear.
It was a pie floater. Jones coming off the ground, Lee, and McLean back on.
Yes, mate, they are rotating the Ds already, but I'm just watching Byron Pickett use the heart rate monitor here, so last time he'll do that for a while, Byron.
Eddie Betts.
What was the heartbeat there, Lee?
About 180.
Which is maximal.
Kennedy to the centre corridor. Scotland, a good user of the football often. Sends it wide, and Walker on the dive. Can't hang on.
Good pick up.
Waite's got it again. Hampson for Walker. Over the top, Johnstone. Something creative. Got it to Bizzle. Takes on 1, 2. We'll enjoy this final dance across the MCG. Bruce to McDonald, Melbourne away. Here's Brown. Going short once again. Miller leading up the ground, taking a mark. Sending them inside the 50. Robertson.
Good grab. Terrific kick by Brad Miller. Danny, he should have been playing there for the most of his career. I'm not sure where it all went wrong. At the moment, I guess it's a fair bit easy because there's not a lot of resistance to the ball coming up the ground. But he's leading up like he's a season centre-half forward.
The criticism was that he's too predictable, but I think that's a real positive because he just keeps coming at the ball, trying to experiment to play him centre-half back, and that really did quell his confidence.
Robertson, season-high 7 goals against Collingwood in that Queen's birthday game, which they won, one of their 4 wins this year, but that is missing.
I'm with you though, Jared. Brad Miller, he's predictable, centre-half forward. The back line love a centre-half forward that comes at the ball carrier. It's a great get-out kick to have.
Michael Jamieson in the back pocket.
Play on ball.
Umpires into it as they play for finals positions as well. Brown, Houlihan. Now Carlton emerge with Betts taking on McLean. Scotland has to backpedal. Brock with some good chasing there. The kick was superb, and now Jackson off to Murphy. Heading to the northern side of the ground with Walker. Halfway through the opening term, Carlton wasted some chances early and trailed by 11 points. Travis Johnstone back for Green. Around he goes. Travis Johnstone has it on a string. 8 possessions in the opening 13 minutes. McDonald.
Make that 9.
Feeding Miller. Here's the run of Johnstone again. He makes Johnson stretch. He's equal to it. Off to McDonald. Thumps it to the pocket. Robertson again. He's already had a sighter. And you'd back him in to kick this one.
It wasn't a great kick from James.
He'll
McDonald.
go short to the goal square because Bruce is waiting. And after a touch of anxiety for Demon fans, he takes the mark and kicks the goal.
Corridor football. They're playing on through the middle of the ground, which really does expose the young Carlton defence. It was a great kick in hope here from James McDonald, but the key to the kick, it was into the space, which forwards love, and Russell Robertson read it better than his young opponent in Jamieson, and then had the awareness just to squirt the ball to Cameron Bruce. Pretty ordinary man of the mark there from Carlton. You're always in the game. Force the player to kick over your fingernails for a shot on goal there.
Early concerns for Brett Ratton and his young Carlton team. There's Bate. Will feed it to Dunn. Melbourne get the clearance comfortably in the top path of Miller. At the back, Johnson. Great handball to Robertson. They've got their 4th. Melbourne off to a flyer. And could it get ugly for Carlton here this evening?
It's already ugly. As soon as those first 2 for Lance missed, it's just been one-way traffic to the other end of the ground. Melbourne's showing a lot of form at the present time, a lot of run, a lot of linkage, not a lot of pressure from the Blues at the present time. Leroy.
Yes, mate, you actually mentioned Bryce Gibbs and his direct opponent, Nathan Jones. He came straight from the ground, Bryce Gibbs, and Brett Ratton had a chat to him on the headset. So maybe it was, he's heard you, mate. He wants to tighten up on Jones.
Well, Jones has had plenty of it. He's now back on the ground after a bit of a rest. This is one-way traffic.
It is. Bate with the pick-up. Loops the handball over the top. This is Chris Johnson. Sending it out wide. Bode at full stretch. Couldn't hang on. Look at the follow-up from Johnson. They're up and about, the Demons. Good tackle by Jackson.
Real attempt, man. Stay there, Chrissy.
Now Bannister.
Melbourne have really manned the mark well here at the moment. When Melbourne get the ball, they're running freely. Not a lot of pressure, but the Melbourne Football Club are really pressuring Carlton's possession game at the moment.
I like the pace of Jace Bode, Spud. Keep an eye on him for a quarter. We'll have a chat about him later on the match.
O'Halpin, he's played all 22 games now for Carlton this season. Going to Walker, 60 metres out, driving it into the pocket. Wade had it well spoiled by Brown. Ferguson onto it quickly. Melbourne on the counter-attack with Bate waiting for it in the middle. They can run again, the Demons. Long ball, it's a one-on-one duel. Good body work at the back by Newton. Excellent work. And the first game of Mark Austin helped underneath it there by Michael Newton.
Well, it was a long kick from Matthew Bate. That's one of his strengths. Probably could have run the ball with 2 or 3 other loose numbers, but they backed Newton in, and, well, he hasn't let them down.
I think that's exciting, Joe. When you've got a one-on-one, you can run and carry, but back your teammate in. Could have been nearly hands in the back there. After watching that there.
There's Newton from 45, pushes it across the face. It comes back enough. Melbourne with a 5-goal and none start. All the goals have been shared, and it's a 29-point advantage.
Again, we see the ball delivered down the corridor. Carlton have got the ball. They've been slow in their back half. Possess the ball out wide. Melbourne turn the ball over and run and carry. At the moment, the Melbourne Football Club are owning the corridor. He's been terrific, Bate, since he's been on. He's only been on for 5 minutes. He's had 3 disposals already, 2 inside 50s.
And Michael Newton now with 13 goals in his first AFL year, drafted back in 2004.
Still reminds me of Darren Bennett. Newton's got those long legs, big long kick. This bloke is on fire at the moment.
A stellar opening term. 10 possessions for Travis Johnstone. Debate to Byron. Come on, Byron. One to remember. Not quite.
Well, there was a nice burn on the way through because he had Brad Miller in the middle of the ground. And Brad looked at him and thought, you're probably entitled to have a crack in your last go.
Yeah, that's fair. So the margin is 5 goals. We're yet to reach time on of the opening term. Carlton, who lost to the Kangaroos last week by 82 points after 4 competitive defeats under Brett Ratton in his first 4 games in charge.
Good score.
I mean, what they don't want is a loss here devoid of any spirit, because that will stay with you over the summer. Walker. Is this going to be something? Jackson, chain of handballs, comes to Eddie Betts, 55 out, elects to give it off to Bentic. He's caught, switches it towards Bannister. Easy one there for Green to spoil. His follow-up was superb. Got it to Byron. Melbourne away again. Long penetrating ball. Newton the target, couldn't get it. Here's Bruce, dispossessed. Good work by Simpson to get it to Walker.
That last Carlton move just broke down because Eddie Betts' handball was a metre behind instead of being a metre in front.
And that's a good pass and wait. Well, remember he had a shot earlier which was an awful kick that did not score. Otherwise you'd think you'd normally have a crack from him. Indeed he might. From right on the 50, Waite's kick coming back into the post.
And those changes continue down on the ground level there, Lee.
Yes, mate. The D's are ringing them at the moment. So Brock McLean coming off for another rest and James McDonald coming back.
You might get it, Junior Mac.
Whoa. Just when we were praising the day of Travis Johnstone.
Well, he's had the 12 disposals. You're allowed to have 1 errant kick.
Is that the scenario? 1 for 12?
It's not a bad ratio.
Yeah. So Mark Murphy,
if the Tigers were 1 for 12, Spud, you'd be still coaching.
Murphy creeping back to open up the angle here. Won't help. Five behinds for the Blues as we enter the time on period. Was some doubt about Mark Murphy coming into this game, but obviously he's pulled up okay from swollen glands. Down the middle, they look to go again. It might not work. Carruzzo, the pressure on McDonald. McDonald goes again. Did it well, got it out to Green. Ward waiting in the wings. Off to the races now. Ward, long, Robertson, the target. Good spoil by Jamison. Another run by Pickett. Walker, nice pickup. Cute kick too. Looked all right. Jackson to Kreuzer. Simpson running to his left. Kreuzer goes longer than that. The target is Bate. It's over his head. Oh, Travis Johnstone.
And he put the hand in the back. The umpires aren't paying it in round 22, it seems.
18 possessions his average for the season. He's got 13 already. Jones goes to the leading Robertson. Again, Jamison was right alongside. Jackson to Scotland to Jamison. Carlton can clear. Ackland, Kreuzer, back to the ruckman. Ackland fires it deep. Wait, one-on-one. Oh, Chris Johnson out-jostles him to take the mark.
That's a great effort.
Super grab. Just watching Travis Johnson. He's playing down in the back line. It's a great move because unable to tag him. He's having a free running roll in the half back line, which is good coaching here from Mark Rowley.
It's 14 now. This one towards Newton, who's put the middle of his knee in the middle of Mark Murphy's back, and he felt that. Miller to Bate. Demons running again. Bate going long. Robertson or Ferguson. Take your pick. It's Ferguson. It's a Melbourne Avalanche. They're loving it.
The run and carry of the D's. Good to see Murphy on the bench there. I hope he's okay. Good courage from young Mark Murphy. Eyes on the ball. Not aware of what's behind you there. Just the ball spilling over the back. The Carlton defence. If you're going to defend and get some body on, make sure the ball goes forward. As soon as it goes over the back of the pack, there's always a running player to swoop on that to kick a goal. It was great running there from Ferguson, who came down from the half back line.
He wouldn't kick too many, Clinton. Ferguson, surely.
Career goal number 6 for the 24-year-old in his, what's he now, 5th senior year? 6 goals. Just his 2nd this season.
He's got 7 to catch me.
By the end of this night, Danny, you might be taking us through each one of them kick by kick, because Melbourne are breaking this one open. And it's Bode on the run from 50. Long ball to the goal square where Robertson says, let's make it number 7. It's embarrassing for the Blues.
Jared, you asked me about young Jace Bode 6 minutes ago.
Yep.
I'm impressed. Good leg speed, good penetration with his kicks. As we see there, a real weapon to have. When you've got the speed, but also the depth in your kicking, I think he's a real find.
He's got the speed, though. Really, I like this move here, coming back inboard.
Good lateral movement.
Yep. He's one to look out for next year.
He was overlooked in the national draft after being an All-Australian for South Australia in the Under-18 National Championships in 2005. Went and played seniors at Sturt. Got on the Melbourne rookie list, and now here he is in game number 4.
Hard to believe with that pace he was overlooked.
Yeah.
Demons will get Clint Bartram back next year as well. Jared Rivers, obviously, so plenty to work with for Dean Bailey.
The lead is 40. He'd be enjoying this, and no doubt the players were told, hey, your new coach is sitting upstairs in the grandstand watching. Today would be an ideal time for you to perform well. And show him something to think about over the summer as Newton has a chat to the current coach, the caretaker, Mark Riley, his final game in charge. Fighting back a smile there is Mark.
Play on.
Bannister.
Come on here.
Blues can run it away. Bentic for Kreuzer. The run of Scotland. Back for Bentic. Look at the intensity. Where's this been from Melbourne all season? That would be the question some would ask. Betts with the intercept. Goes towards Whitnell. Carroll.
Good grab,
that's a great mark from Whitnell. And he licks the play on. Bannister's got the overlap to the outer side. It's Bryce Gibbs. 2-on-2 in the forward 50, although now Melbourne flood back. So Gibbs goes long towards the forward pocket where Kennedy's going to fly.
She had a good jump.
It was a good jump. It was a very predictable kick for defence in modern football, Jared. That long, high kick. Melbourne were all over that high ball.
Here's your man again.
And the Demons sprinted away quickly. Bode to Pickett on the 50. And Byron is going all the way towards Robertson, but it's out on the foot.
Robbo, back a few, Robbo.
Well, Jace Bode again, Jared. He's at the 5 disposals, but 3 inside 50s. They're the ones that really count. 4 to the centre.
Good targets as well.
Inside of 2 minutes remaining opening term as Scotland spins out of trouble.
Arm tackle from Paul Johnson.
Walker disrupts the afternoon of the Seagulls out there as Halpin takes the mark and goes short to Russell. He'll pop it up to the top of the square. Whitnell or Kennedy? Kennedy! Didn't quite hang on to it.
He can buy a goal down there.
They might get another crack. Does he get a free? No. Ward does well to trap the football in. A bounce. Close to a mark.
Well, it was a good leap from Josh Kennedy. Another 2 pre-seasons and some weights. But again, those hands in the back, the umpires have just dropped the ball on this one tonight.
Yep.
Which is good from my point of view.
Yeah, but the rules should be changed over the summer, should it not?
Just wonder, would they be playing these this time next week, Jared, in the final?
Well, they'd want to be. I spent the whole year arguing about it. I think the game's got a lot of benefits out of it in some regards. Can't change the rules for the finals.
Should the rules stay in next season as is?
I'd like to see incidental contact be allowed, Clinton, but I think we've come a long way to knowing exactly where this rule should be. That's a ripper!
Oh, he's done it again! He does defy gravity, Jared. Newton with another launch.
He couldn't defy Jared Blake, though.
No. Spoil Sports cost himself a chance at an early replay because Carlton are running. And it's Scotland. He could make them pay. The goal square's unguarded. Oh, my goodness. Boundary throw. So let's have a look at Michael Newton. He's got some hops.
It's only a B grader for him.
Russell's looking at that going.
He's not happy. He's filthy.
He just doesn't know who's the high wire act at this club. Oh, look at that. Bryce Gibbs. That's what number 1 draft picks can do. Terrific snap goal for Carlton's first and a badly needed one within seconds of a quarter-time siren.
Well, there's the future. It's disappointing that the youngest player on your list has to find the spark, Jared. But you see this stoppage. Very ordinary manning there from Nathan Brown. Just ball watched a little bit. Brock McLean, actually, it was. In the corner of my eye, it was Brock McLean. So just needs to play more of a defensive role there, Brock.
Nice goal from Gibbs, his 4th in his AFL career. Remember, he was put in the leadership group over the summer before playing a senior game at Carlton. Albeit an expanded leadership group. McLean under some pressure. Can Carlton try to squeeze something out late? Russell getting it on. Kreuzer. There's time for a quick kick. Jackson laying it off by hand. Got to go deep here. Houlihan's ball will be marked within range. It's Big Red! Oh, Big Red!
He got a great leap. Caught it on the way down.
I can't remember the last time Lance Whitnell was that high.
He was high, but then he had to wait for the ball to drop again. Have a look here. That's a great leap, but he's caught it again on the way down.
Oh, that is fantastic stuff.
Chrissy Johnson didn't think it was fantastic stuff, Clinton.
His ears are ringing right now, thinking there's an air raid siren. So, can Lance seal the deal after the quarter-time siren? For 2 in half a minute for his club, and it'd be a big lifter.
He's just got no power in those legs at the moment, Big Lance. He got up high. I think that was the energy spent, and his kicking just hasn't let him down over the last couple of weeks. He's got 3 behinds. Carlton have got 13, and the Demons hold a handy lead at three-quarter time, 7-3-45 to 1-7-13.
Melbourne get the clearance comfortably in the top half of Miller. At the back, Johnstone, great handball to Robertson, they've got their 4th. And it's Bode on the run from 50. Long ball to the goal square where Robertson says, let's make it number 7. Great start for the Demons. They kicked the first 7 goals, led by 40 points. Carlton rallied late. A goal to Gibbs, a shot at goal by Lance Whitnell after the quarter-time siren. button it was just one behind. Travis Johnson with a 14-possession explosion in the opening term, as the Demons seeking a 5th win for the season, leading by 32 points. But disposals remarkably even. Carlton winning more of the uncontested ball, Melbourne getting in for the contested ball. Aside from that, marks, clearances in the inside 50s, not too much of a discrepancy as we head down to Craig Bradley with Lee Colbert.
Craig, big glance, gets up there and takes a screamer.
He did get up there. It would have been nice if he had to kick the goal, but yeah, no, it was a good grab.
I saw you have a chat with Mark Murphy. How's he?
He's good. Yeah, no, it was pretty courageous back into the pack, and yeah, spent a couple of minutes on the bench there, so he's right to go.
Always, thanks for your time, mate.
No worries. Cheers.
Good on you, Lee. Thank you for that. Sunday night football on the East Coast. Condon Gravis alongside of Gerard Healy, Danny Frawley. We'll be talking about the AFL's final situation for next week at the end of our show tonight, but the expectation is that it will start Friday night at Amy Stadium in Adelaide, Port Adelaide and West Coast. Before that, we've got 3 quarters to go here. Lopsided scoreline, but gents, it was an entertaining opening term.
Last quarter of footy I saw Clinton, I saw Scott Lucas kick 7 goals. This quarter of footy we saw the Demons kick 7 goals, and it was just such a one-sided game, Danny. Disappointing in some regards because the Blues haven't fired a shot.
Well, Melbourne have really hit their targets. Carlton have just kicked the ball into their forward line in hope.
Second quarter underway with a 32-point lead. Gibbs, tracked by Travis Johnstone near the boundary line. Inside the 50. Whitnell. Now Jackson. Here's a go for Grigg on the run from 50. Big bomb to the line, and it's touched just in the nick of time by Chris Johnson.
He's done all right, Chris Johnson, as a defender. On Lance Whitnell. A couple of times now he's held him out.
Travis Johnstone goes short. Chris Johnson without the tee, taking the mark. Miller again, and he's paid the mark. Much to Bauer's chagrin. Miller with 4 marks already, driving this one to Robertson. Demons looking to build. Kick towards the hot spot. Paul Johnson, good use of the body against Jared Waite, who's gone down the back half to stem the bleeding, and Paul Johnson can have a shot at goal.
Well, the difference in the 2 teams at the moment, Jared, is ball use. Purely and simply. You just see this kick to space. All forwards love this. And it was a good use of the body. No hands in the back there, just used the forearm. So it was good play there from Johnson.
Paul Johnson made his debut in 2003. A game with the Eagles, not a noted goal kicker, just 4 in his AFL career. Exhibit B. .46 playing 14. Scotland to bring it back into play. The Blues huddling at centre half back. So Murphy wins another free. Again, it's against Wyndon Dunn for the hole. Free kick count 6-0 Carlton's way.
He was blocking his run there. Eyes totally on his opponent, not on the ball. So good decision there from the umpire.
Stay clear, fellas. Play on.
Murphy to the northern wing. Good run presented by Houlihan.
Play on, Ryan.
Could hit targets going inside their 50 now. Just a bomb.
Yeah, an easy one for Ferguson to spoil, though he directs it straight to Wackland, who drifts it over the top. Nice knock on Jackson to Simpson on the right. Excellent snap goal. Carlton's best play of the day, albeit perhaps coming from a defensive error from the Demons, but it finishes with Cade Simpson.
It is a defensive error you're talking about. Ferguson had that in his mitts. Should have marked the footy, Spud, and gave away a goal in doing so.
You're right there, Jared. Just lack of communication, obviously, there from the defence. When Ferguson was in front, all he needed to hear was a voice, but he had to play the game also. When you've got front position like that and the ball's coming down in front of your eyes, back yourself in. Mark the ball. If you're going to spoil the ball, spoil it outside the corridor.
And Ryan Jackson is tracking Brock McLean at the present time.
Watching both ways, guys.
That's a good test for the 20-year-old from Greensboro.
And we'll play a free kick if elbow in the guts.
Thank you to Chris Camillans for offering that advice for Wyndon Dunn and Mark Murphy as Ackland affects the hit out.
Mark Murphy!
And there's the third free kick going against Dunn to Mark Murphy. He delivers it to the 50 for Russell. So Carlton getting a little bit of spirit here. Can they get another goal? To the top of the square, Kennedy or Whitnell. Where are the crummers? Travis Johnstone of Melbourne. Hasn't quite got it on a string now. Gibbs is tied up. Whitnell. Houlihan trying to break through. Brown's kick smothered. Jones of the Demons. Forces the handball to space. White running onto it.
Play on.
Good pressure here from Carlton.
Play on.
A duck was called on Gibbs. No free kick. Jones getting it out for Travis Johnstone.
Good work by Jones. A couple of times now he's won the footy over the summer. Just got to polish up those skills.
And now Carlton can break free. Kreuzer from the wing. High ball. Tough to mark at centre half forward. Pack crashes. Bounce important. Chris Johnson does it well. Needed to keep it in front of himself, and he did. And Brown goes out wide for Green. The bounce awful. Simpson caught. Stands up in the tackle. Scotland out wide. Gibbs the mark.
Stay there.
Carlton pressing here to try and get it back to a 20-point game.
Leave it on. Play on.
He's going to pump it up towards the... Well, he's there. Everyone looking around saying yours. Brown is brought down. Ackland for Carazzo. Finds an opening and from 49 metres out pushes the kick to the right-hand side for a behind.
That was amazing there. Young Gibbs' kick. He was waiting for a forward to lead. Everyone was stationary. The movement there at the moment. So Gibbs had no option in the end. He had to kick the ball long and high, and even the Melbourne defence were caught unaware there.
Play on.
No, that's good movement.
Brown on the end of it. Keeping it low, but ill-directed inside the 50. And Scotland is there to chop it off.
Byron, stay there, stay there. That's me. You now.
Russell. Umpires wide for sound with each other. And Kennedy can go all the way. Inside the 50. Running shot out to the left. So Carlton are spraying some chances here. 2 goals, 10 now.
Break it out, boys. Thanks, lads.
Well, Brock McLean has got away magnificently here. Good kick as well.
Play on. There yours.
It's a 4-goal game early in the second quarter at the MCG. As Travis Johnstone has his 17th disposal. Ward through the middle, running towards Newton.
Play on.
This is where Melbourne have just started to break down a little bit. Those kicks inside 50, hitting targets in the first quarter. Now they're not.
Good work, Bauer. Back to Jamison. Sits up obligingly for Gibbs. Murphy in the path of Simpson. Green was right on his hammer. Now the reverse is true. Bruce did well. Got it to Byron. Pickett sizes up the options. Long to Robertson. Swings onto the right. And the kick slews off the side of the boot near the pocket where Newton keeps it alive. And grubbers it back to a den of white jumpers. And Griggs got a man on in the middle and gives it to him. And this is good. Jackson to Carazzo. Made him work for it though. Ward brought him down. Jackson follows up and is tripped.
Play on advantage.
Ackland towards Houlihan. There's been a couple of impressive marks tonight.
It's a great use of the body. Just used Brown there as a springboard. It's a terrific kick. Drew the high mark. Just see Houlihan protecting the space where the ball was going to drop. Terrific kick. Great mark.
Well, Melbourne kicked the first 7 goals of this match. This for 3 unanswered Carlton majors to get them back to within 18 points. Houlihan has averaged 20 possessions a game this year, has missed just 1 match this season. And his kick is true. A mini rally by the Blues.
They desperately needed that. They've had 21 inside 50s to Melbourne 23, so only 2 less. Get on the scoreboard. Melbourne have doubled their score, so they just need to get reward for effort at the moment, Carlton. It's a better weighted kick though. First quarter and a bit, they're just kicking the ball in hope. But now that it's some isolation in their forward line, if they can just get some quality balls through the midfield there, Murphy's been good. Carazzo's starting to find a little bit of it also.
So it's back to an 18-point game after it got to as many as 40. Perfect twilight has descended on the MCG. Father's Day Sunday 2007. The last day of the home and away season as Walker is tied up by Bate. Finals starting next weekend. And a great slew of matches. Geelong and the Kangaroos, Port Adelaide and West Coast are likely to kick it off on Friday night in the two elimination finals. Hawthorn and Adelaide, Collingwood and Sydney. Kreuzer the hit out. Pressures on Ward. Russell did well. Scotland's going to provide the shepherd. Simpson the handball over the top to Murphy. Should be another goal coming up for Carlton. Bate on the run. Has sprayed it.
We just go back to that centre clearance. Nathan Jones had the footy again, and he's just rushing himself in times of under those periods where he's perceiving pressure. He wasn't pressured at all. He's just got to relax a little bit more in those clearance and contested ball areas. He's winning it well. He's just got to then take it to the next level and hit targets on the way through.
Ryan Ferguson with the mark. The 50 goes against the second gamer, Sean Hampson. So Ferguson, after a couple of injury-interrupted years, will be hoping for a clear run to start 2008.
Good tackle.
Carlton with a third man in, but we'll get a bounce.
Carlton now starting to win the clearances around the ground. 10 to Carlton, 8 to Melbourne.
Why aren't you holding each other?
Done. Got it away. Here's Bode on the run. Touch of class to light up the MCG. Delivered from Jace Bode.
These are some of the positive, Jared. Coming out of a pretty ordinary year. We just see the stoppage here. And the ball is fumbling around. Good hands in the end from Lyndon Dunn. But just the ability to get the ball in your hands and then explode. Just find that 2 or 3 metres on your direct opponent is something you're born with.
Well, I like the look of this Lyndon Dunn in this role. I think he's going to be a fair find for the Demons, and they've got another finisher there in Jace.
Bodes well.
Nice work.
Margin is back to 23 points. Ackland the hit out down to Bentic, now Bauer. Sending it out wide as the hands in the back of Bannister. Yep.
Well, this is a better move from Brett Ratton. Got Bannister on Travis Johnson. Bryce Gibbs was on him early in the quarter, but just went too far up the ground. So Bannister's a good negator.
Pack form. Carroll provides the spoil. Bode running onto it on half back. Boundary line would be his friend. Carlton players chasing him hard. Bode's backing himself and was caught. And now Carlton can go 60 metres from goal. Bannister looking for 3 men. Sends it backwards. This is Grigg. Will he go himself? A bounce, confidently ran to the 50, gets the handball back and has to snap hurriedly from 35 and misses everything.
Well, once you go into the wilderness, you got to have a plan to get through, and I'm not sure he had any plan whatsoever. He got the ball back under enormous pressure, banged it on the boot, but it's going to become more clear to him as he gets 50 or 60 games under his belt. Sometimes, Danny, I reckon you can get out to such a good lead in the first quarter that you stop working. And I think that's what's happened to a fair few of the Demon players. More so the senior players than the younger players.
You're right, Jared. Even a half-forward line, they expect the ball to come onto them. They sense early in the game it was coming out easily.
Well, there you go. We'll get Melbourne players kicking the ball the wrong way now.
And Lance Whitnell is on the end of it and will have his 4th shot at goal to try and break through for his first major today.
Was it Paul Johnson?
It was very hard to defend that kick there, Jared. It was a good grab from Lance Whitnell.
Another try for Lance. He'd be desperate to get this one. Getting his chances. Is he about to start taking them? That makes 4. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, that hurts.
It does.
He's winning the ball. He's winning the ball, and they're all being kickable.
It just doesn't look like he's got his strength in that support leg. It's just collapsing on him and not getting any power whatsoever.
One thing Lance Whitnell has always been, Jerry, is a very good kick and a penetrating kick. He's got no penetration at the moment.
Chris Johnson being chased by Kennedy, driving Melbourne up to the 50, and again it's another turnover. Really falling down at the half-forward line there. More the delivery than the forwards.
They're not carrying the ball through the middle and getting it in deep like they did early.
Inside 50s, Carlton leading by 1, 25-24 is Jackson. Can they do something about their conversion? Well, a goal coming up for Melbourne as Bate drifts it over the top for Newton. Although an agricultural attempt at the mark will mean he'll have to go back from the 50.
Robbo's lurking.
They had a lot of loose men there for a while. And he's not entirely confident here, Michael Newton.
He needs to kick the goal now. Robertson was on his own for about 20 seconds there, so needs to nail this.
Halfway through the second turn.
Well, we know he can kick the distance. It's only a matter of the accuracy. You're right behind it, Spud. Right at home.
Well, it's going to start a little bit left, Jared, and then just work its way back to the goal front.
Nicely worked.
2 goals to Newton. Melbourne get the last 2 to steady after Carlton had closed to within 18 points. And again, costly turnovers at midfield.
Yeah, it was. It was a good selection there by Bate. Picked him out well. And we saw Newton there just looking around. Burning up enough time so he could have a shot.
I think Robbo was too happy with it though, Jared.
Well, they're fighting over a card. Spud, there's only an hour or so to go for the car.
Well, Newton's well in front at the moment.
2 tonight, 14 goals for the season for Michael Newton. Melbourne by 29 points. 199th meeting of these old rivals who began their acquaintance back in 1897.
Play on, play on!
Simpson caught by Dunn, throws it out.
No handball there, just came it off with the head.
Another look.
Jeff White's on.
Kick goes inside the 50 to White, who on the second effort, well, gee, no mark, no free. Greg appeared to have a piece of his jumper. Don't ping him. Don't ping him. Oh. Well. That's unlucky, we'll say, as Scotland breaks. Carlton away. Kennedy from defensive side of the outer wing with Eddie Betts, the fleet of foot one, running for him. Kennedy, cute kick, nice. That was effective. Got it to Johnstone, the first gamer. Bentick goes long, and O'Halpin doubles back. Ferguson, good spoil. Houlihan wrapped up, got it to Whitnell. How about off a snap, Lance? This time, no!
We're feeling for you, Lance. It's just, can't believe they won't go through. Let's have a look at Jeff White. Was he dragged out of it? 1, 2. No free kick. Good decision from the umpire. Yep.
Lance Whitnell 4 behinds and 1 out of bounds. Carlton 3-12 to 9-4. Could have been right in the mix here. Instead, they're the better part of 5 goals down, watching Melbourne build again as Robertson marks beneath the faithful in the members. Happy to go short, and Bruce takes it.
Yeah, 3-12. It's an accurate play. Really does deflate the midfield, your defence, when you continually get the ball in there as the Blues are at the moment since probably 20-minute mark in the first quarter. But unfortunately, they haven't kicked any majors.
Twice runner-up in the club best and fairest, Cameron Bruce, giving this one a ride from a tight angle. It's a wonderful kick. Melbourne providing the finish at one end, while at the other, Carlton is spraying them.
He's a class act, Cameron Bruce. You suggest Melbourne going to win this game. When you have a look at the senior players out for Carlton and Melbourne, but it's all the Melbourne senior players getting plenty of the ball. Travis Johnson, Brock McLean, James McDonald and Cameron Bruce kicking 2 majors. That was a terrific kick.
Beautiful kick.
His second, alongside of Newton and Robertson, each with 2.
Well, he just burst on the interchange. Worked straight onto a Lyndon Dunn handball, pushed forward, got on the end of a kick and snagged a goal. It's a pretty handy couple of minutes.
Simpson away, driving towards half forward. Whitnell holding off Carroll. Going again.
He's angry.
Still going, Big Red, look out.
Brendan Dunn's having a very good afternoon or evening.
Johnston. Intercepted by Scotland. And now Greg, another of these first-year Carlton players.
Well, that 40 or 50 metre kick just not working for Melbourne at the moment. They've got to try and just get the extra handball, extra bit of run and get it over the line.
Let's hope Lance can put this one through.
Well, there's everyone's heart in their mouth for Carlton fans here. He's had 5 shots at goal, all gettable, yet to make one. Does he make this?
Well, I think he can. He's just got to slow down a bit and kick it maybe only off 2 or 3 steps, because he's trying to generate all this power with the big long run and the fast run, and he's getting to his stationary aspect of the kick, and it's just all collapsing.
This time Lance from the 50. This time. Oh, his teammate has stopped it on the goal line. Oh, Halpin trying to force it through. Arms and legs everywhere, and easy for Melbourne to walk across the line.
You hasn't had much of it, Big Satana.
No, he hasn't. You called it right there, Clinton, because Sean Hampson, I think, no doubt should have shoveled that ball through there for Whitman.
Melbourne on the counter-strike quickly. Jones going towards half forward. Newton unable to hang on to the chest mark.
There's a lot of fumbling going on there in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly with Newton. He's just fumbled it 5 times. I reckon they've got to get the big man up, the big Irishman on the ball spot.
Yeah, get him into the presence.
Get him into the game, get him bouncing around the ground.
On this day, 60 years ago, Fred Fanning kicked the league record 18 goals. Lance Whitnell could have matched that tonight.
Good tackle.
Advantage play on, which I believe that's Melbourne's second free kick for the game. Carlton have had 9. Newton from the boundary line.
Well, I reckon he's entitled to centre that ball, and someone should run out to Newton and say, listen, young man, it's a team game. And start looking inboard before you start trying to kick miracle goals.
Brad Green was on his own, and Lyndon Dunn and Johnson. He had 3 teammates.
You'd have bought into him at half-time, Spud, if you were coaching him.
I think I'd have a little chat to him now, Jared. Just come and have a little jog over here, son. I'll give you an earful.
Do it as theatrically as possible. Gee, that's a dangerous kick, isn't it? To a 1-on-2.
It's a good effort by Bizzle. Just nearly took a great one.
Travis Johnston the free. Having a big final game of the home and away season, Travis Johnston.
The Melbourne runner is on the ground. He's heading right of screen.
I'd start running. Bizzle. Done. Melbourne break clear again. Kick comes up to the 50. It's Newton again, but he doesn't get there. Lance Whitnell just wants to crash into a few blokes, it appears.
Well, what Michael Newton needs to do now, the runner getting near him, is run the other way, but
too late.
He's coming off.
He's coming off, and he's about to be handed the phone. Bentex going deep inside the 50. Bizzle the spoil. Push out. Free kick. Melbourne's way.
Is he going down to the phone there, Lee Colbert?
Yes, mate, they're handing him the phone right now. So a few choice words from Mr. Riley, I'd assume.
Well, that's good coaching from Bomber. I'll be disappointed if Mark Riley didn't take him off after that kick, Jared.
Yeah, it was just not on, the bottom line. I mean, the team result was the goal, not so much his own result. He's had a good game, but he's just letting himself down a couple of times.
Hot spot for the Demons with Bruce feeding to Robertson. He snaps out of a pack and misses. He's thinking, I've got mark of the year stitched up. I want a goal of the year as well. That will be a hot contest this season, won't it? Goal of the year.
Yeah.
Most people agree Newton's got the mark wrapped up, but the goal.
There are so many great goals of the week. And a lot of boomerangs.
Yep. As Betts puts the pressure on. Good tackle in the centre of the ground. We'll get a bounce. We sit there every Monday afternoon and the winners picking the goal of the weekend, and it's hard enough.
Who's your favourite so far?
Now, Danny's joining me for the winners over the course of the finals. We'll count down the best of them.
I think the Lance Franklin one at half-time a few weeks ago. That banana from 45 was a great goal.
Against the Lions here?
Yes.
Here's one from Matthew Bate.
Away, on the left, 40 out on the run, close. Good enough. Melbourne get 4 unanswered goals, and the lead's back beyond 40 points.
Speed kills. Matthew Bate, he's a tricky player. I like him. He's about 6'2". He's got good legs, he runs, and he's a good penetrating kick also. You've seen he was at the stoppage there, Bate, and he's been able to follow on. See the power just to break through the defence.
Yep.
That is a good sign for Melbourne, Jared, with Bate and young Bode around that half-forward line. Throw Miller there to do all the bullocking work. You're starting to get a good young half-forward line.
And Travis Johnson had done some yards because he's now on the half-back line, now pushing into the middle of the ground. Bryce Gibbs, his direct opponent.
Melbourne was smashed in the clearances last week against Fremantle, 40-29. They take that one away comfortably to get themselves back ahead of Carlton in the count tonight, 13-12. But the Blues take it away. 3 minutes from half-time. Kick is wide but fair, and Lee Colbert has a touch.
Just got a kick, boys.
Was it lace out, Lee?
No, Mung off the side as usual.
Yes, no surprise you never went to America for a kicking contract, as Gibbs delivers into the pocket, going to ground acrobatically was Kennedy. Whitnell waiting in the wings for Eddie Betts, and that's good unselfish play if he tried to pass it off. Oh, he's brought it back for a goal. A freakish bounce. I reckon Eddie's saying, hey, I was trying to pass that. Yeah, I was giving it to you, and it just bounced through for a goal.
He was, at first thought, going to have a crack at the goals. Clinton, who called it correctly. He then pulled his kick. We just see the loose ball here. Good hands from Whitnell. And he just pulled his kick enough to say, boys, it's yours. And unfortunately, it went too far, and Shane Warne would be happy with that turn.
Yeah. Warney would have him in the top 50 with something like that.
Tell you what, he had a couple of shockers in his top 50, didn't he?
Just me, or should Steve Waugh have been a little bit higher? Darren Lehman was high up there too.
Adam Gilchrist couldn't get in his top 10.
Whew. Fox Sports bringing you all the cricket this summer as well. I wonder if we'll be called upon for duties there.
That's warning for you, though.
Yeah. The seasons change here this afternoon on Fox Sports as Hampson is dispossessed at half forward for the Blues. Travis Johnstone with a 23 possession first half goal. Good for all you fantasy league players needing some points late as Bate goes towards Robertson on the lead.
Kick. 2 great kicks, Jared. Travis Johnson to Bate and Bate to Robertson. Lace out football.
Yeah, wasn't it? Let's have a look at this. Travis Johnson, smart little chip along the wing. And this is penetrating kick you're talking about, Danny. Punches it into the space. Scotland could have broken away, but he was concerned with his man.
Robbo's got 3 in a year where he will win the Melbourne goal kicking for a 3rd time. He's now got 39 for the season.
And those kicks from Bate as a defender are hard to read because they don't go high, they go low. They penetrate over the ground. And as a defender, you haven't got a lot of time to run and jump and carry. When you see the high ball as a defender, you've got a little bit of time. But that, when it's going to space and grass, it gives your defender no chance whatsoever with that kick.
He's back on Newton.
Right.
Robbo's had it all his own way for too long.
He's fresh.
He's back.
Alert air traffic control. So Carlton apparently on their way to the #1 draft pick, Matthew Kreuzer, who hasn't been talking to the media while everyone's been talking about him. Looks like he's going to get used to the trip to Princes Park.
Thanks, boys.
Where the nucleus is there for very good young team. Gibbs at 18, Russell 20, Walker 21, Murphy's 20 years of age, Kennedy 20, Simpson 23. Young Carlton team under Brett Ratton as Johnston goes towards Newton. Well, he's crashed into Bauer. He'll be reported. It's on now.
Liven things up a bit.
Final day of the season. Newton reported for charging.
Well, Newton's got the ball now. The first umpire was going to give it to Newton, reverse it, and the central umpire said no, he's on report.
For charging.
And Therefore, there can be no reversal off the back of that, says Martin Ellis.
It's great courage from young Bauer.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's good courage. Brett Ratton will be absolutely wrapped with that.
Well, a lively way to end towards the first half here.
I think the instruction from Newton is play team football, but I don't think he needed to take his aggression out like that. It was a bit untoward.
He could have a delayed start to 2008. Final minute, first half. Got the crowd into it. Can Carlton get a mark inside 50? Well, Ackland went a fraction early. Clint Bizzle in his farewell game. Out wide for Ward.
Got that, Eddie.
Happy to hold it up for this closing 30 seconds.
Play on.
Where was your farewell game at, Danny? That tearful farewell of yours in your last game.
It's a bit embarrassing, Clinton. It was out the Whitten Oval, actually. The day they named the Western Oval the Whitten Oval.
So you were trying to steal the late EJ's thunder, were you?
No.
Oh, look out. There's only 5 seconds to go. Can Betts get the handball away? He can. Russell's got to go now. Sort of sums up their season, really. Almost, but not quite. Half-time, Melbourne by 41 points.
Sums up Melbourne in many respects too. They should never have lost that football. It went away. And they nearly cost them a goal. But Travis Johnstone, we just saw 24 possessions in the first half. He's on world record pace. Lyndon Dunn also having a terrific match to date. The Blues have got plenty to think about. Lance Whitnell, well, at the moment he can't buy a shot at goal, Danny. But there's a lot to talk about for the Blues when they get in on that huddle. And for Melbourne, they've just got to keep playing team game. And they should have this match well and truly in their control.
We'll come back, look at the finals picture and more. Melbourne by 41 points at half-time on Sunday Night Football.
Hungry Jack's half-time break. The second half is always better at Hungry Jack's.
That shot of Lance Whitnell said it all, didn't it? Tough season, tough day for goal kicking for Lance. Half-time, Melbourne leading by 41 points after Carlton had got to within 18 points during that second quarter. Russell Robertson with 3, Newton with 2 for the Demons, Cameron Bruce with 2 goals as well. No misprint there. Travis Johnstone has seen it 24 times in the opening term, Danny Frawley. In the opening half, he has had an honest string.
Well, Travis Johnstone has 24 possessions, Clinton. Invariably, Melbourne are going to be in front because a different role. On the half-back line, Carlton have tried to tag him, put him deep. But you have a look at the contested possessions there. Melbourne started the game brilliantly. Carlton, surprisingly enough, win the uncontested possessions, but they're really letting themselves down with their ball use, not only around the ground, but obviously in front of goal. And Lance Whitnell there, because the inside 50s, as we see, they're just about even. But it's Melbourne's ball use versus Carlton's lack of ball use, especially in front of goal.
All right, so what do you do with Travis Johnstone then in the second half if you are Brett Ratton, given the way he's had so much of it?
Well, you've got to put your best tagger on it. He's tried Walker, Gibbs, Bannister in the end of the game. So no doubt I've just got to play a purely defensive role. They're trying to drag him back to the goal square, but Travis Johnston's too smart. He's playing about 30 metres in front of his direct opponent. And, of course, Carlton's ball use can't get it over the top of him. So he, at the moment, is the game breaker. Brett Ratton and the boys, it'll be interesting to see what they do on Travis Johnstone after half-time.
And it sort of almost sums him up, doesn't it? Because he can have halves and games like this, and then he can be very, very quiet for a period.
Look, I love the way he goes about it. When he's on song, there's not a better player in the competition. He's the Rolls Royce of the Melbourne Football Club with 24 disposals. Normally they're lace-out football.
Yeah, tonight's all about finding hope for next season, the next few years for both of these clubs, given they're way beyond finals consideration. Jace Bode, one such player for Melbourne. Very, very exciting first half.
for Jace Bode, the young 19-year-old from Sturt. 4th senior game, had it 8 times, kicked a goal.
He's kicked a goal. He's had 4 inside 50s also. Great lateral movement and a great turn of foot. Just the ability to run and carry and then deliver to the ball to the forwards like that is great to watch. We just see here a fantastic mark. Hits the ground running. That's the key. Yeah. He gets the ball and something happens. As soon as he plays on, all of a sudden the Melbourne forwards, they move also. We see him here kicking a goal. That's a great start. Great first half for the young fella.
And the accuracy is something here today. 12 goals, 6 at one end of the ground. 4 goals, 13 at the other end of the ground. One of those reasons why is Lance Whitnell. He could have had 4. He could have had 5 goals. To this point, he's got 4 behinds and 1 out of bounds. We saw his numbers on the bottom of the screen earlier. 13 possessions, of which 8 are contested. 7 marks. He is involved in the game.
Well, have a look at the highlights there, Clinton. The hardest job for a forward is to win the ball. And as you said, 8 of those possessions are contested. But unfortunately here, he's just goal kicking. This one was out in the full. You see Nathan Carroll getting into it. Nathan Carroll would have been taken off Lance Whitnell if he had been accurate, because he's winning the ball and marking the ball beautifully. But unfortunately, the leg injury, I think it's no doubt affecting his kicking.
All right, so Melbourne by 41 points at half-time. We'll come back, talk about those clubs that are in the finals race as the Demons look to close out 2007 with a victory, leading 78-37 at half-time.
Hungry Jack's half-time break. The second half is always better at Hungry Jack's.
MCG looking a picture for the final home and away game of the season. Melbourne by 41 points. Big comeback required for Carlton. Big comeback required for the rest of the field in this year's MotoGP class. Racing at San Marino tonight from 7 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports 2. Can anyone catch that young man, Casey Stoner, leading the championship by 60 points? Find out tonight, live and exclusive coverage there from 7 o'clock. Lee Colbert is alongside of one of my favourite supporters in the AFL. I think his name's Angelo, Lee, isn't it?
It is, Clinton. It is indeed. 21-year supporter or member of the Melbourne Footy Club. Mate, passionate about the club. How are they going to go in this second half?
I think, mate, they're going to clean them up this half, come out with a big victory and put the end of the season with a great win, yeah.
Mate, you know, they say the supporters aren't passionate about their footy, even in round 22. Look at Big Ange going.
Does he have the hair like that during the week, Lee, or not?
Yeah, he has. You have the hair always like this?
Yep. Every game I come to is up. Yep.
There you go, boys.
Good on you, Lee. Can you try that for the final quarter, Lee? Underway, final term.
Melbourne Creek.
With the Blues heading to the city end, the right of screen. Melbourne to the left in this final term.
So they're pretty intent, the umpires, in stamping out any scragging that's going on. Nice start at the half by Brock.
Miller to White. Sending it very wide for Bizzle in his farewell game. Just before first half touches for Clint Bizzle, who's popping it to the hot spot at the top of the square. And Robertson and Newton were both flying for it. Paul Johnson to Green. Well, Carlton don't concede a behind. Jamison to Ackland. Needs to be precise. He isn't. And it might go back over his head. Bruce hurries a kick at goal. It's coming back, not enough.
Well, we have a look at Travis Johnston. He's got Bryce Gibbs for the second half, so that'll be interesting to see how... Well, Gibbs, he just needs to keep him to 23 possessions.
He's had a win.
Jared, and he's had a win.
7 goals the margin. Is it tough playing out a season like this, Danny, in the final half of the final game?
Certainly is, Clinton, when there's nothing on the end of it. All you can really get out of it is an injury, and at the moment both sides are playing probably best described as bruise-free football.
Houlihan to Whitnell. Well, this is one intriguing storyline. His 6th shot at goal coming up. He goes into it quickly, and Big Red, is he finally breaking through? He is!
He puts his hands in the air.
Hallelujah! And he deserved it.
Well, he just went back and kicked the thing, rather than going back and spending too much time addressing the demons in his ears. He's went back and unloaded. But he's been doing that for a long time.
Well, he certainly has, Jared. We talked about him at half-time. He's doing the hard part as a forward, finding the ball. 14 disposals, 8 of those contested. So he's winning the hard ball. Good shepherd on the line too from young Kennedy. It's a lot better. area in the game in the second quarter. Young Hampson could have shepherded one of Lance's shots on goal.
He said yes to the Demons, Jared, at the end of 2005. Not his personal ones, but to the Melbourne Football Club. Slept on it for a night. Stayed at Carlton. Another 2-year deal, which expires in a quarter and 18 minutes.
Come on. Yes, we've got it, Jonesy.
Yeah, I think Neil Dano was pretty keen to get into the Demons back then.
He dived on it. He knocked it out straight away.
6 goals, the margin. As Carlton look to make it 4. Look to try and come from 7 goals behind. It's 36 right now. O'Halpin pushed out of it by Johnson. Robertson trying to knock it to Newton, but Scotland prizes it clear, and in collaboration with Walker, they're away, although his kick is dying to the outer side. Russell's got to beat 2. And he can't.
Pickett's on, he's free.
And Bruce goes to him. Is it going to be a run from Byron for old time's sake? Not yet. Goes towards Byron Newton. Gee, that's in danger.
Melbourne kicking in danger. No, he's been over to pick up the footy. He's been up.
Well, it was an interesting decision, that one. It was the correct one. It just goes back to a period where Brett Delidio had his arm broken, Danny, and I think there was an error by the AFL and the umpires panel not to address that issue back then.
No, you're absolutely correct, Jared. I couldn't believe that one at that stage.
Good run here by the Blues.
They're out, Carlton, and it's 2 one-on-one matchups inside the 50. Gibbs goes to this one involving Kennedy, who is held, and Carlton can get 2 in a row.
Well, yeah, that's a good decision there from the umpire, but that's the best way to defend Travis Johnstone. Find the ball yourself. Young Gibbs there. Great awareness. Great kick.
So Kennedy lining up for his first following the hold from Ferguson. No doubt about that wraparound. Kennedy was a number 4 draft pick 2 years ago. Can he kick it from just inside the 50? He squeezes it home, and the Blues get consecutive goals.
He's going to be a very good player, Josh Kennedy. Just have to be patient. Players over 6'5", 6'6" generally take 2 or 3 pre-seasons longer than the midfielders in the competition when they're young. And there's one thing about Josh Kennedy, he's not going to get any smaller, just needs 2 pre-seasons in the gym, and that's strength. Ferguson won't even get a fist on it when he builds up around the arms and the legs and the torso.
So it's back to a 5-goal game following the Kennedy goal. Carlton 6 goals coming from 6 different goal kickers. McLean, good clearance. O'Halpin again hacks it out of midair. And marks his own ball. You can't do that, Satanta.
Cannon Island. Clinton's
just not here. Ackland. Murphy. Dispossessed by Dunn. Got it to Brock McLean, who pushes it wide right.
Could have played a little bit of team foot himself there, Brock, a rush of blood, because Miller was on his own 30 metres directly in front.
Big year from Satanta, having played every match. Bauer. Nice little dummy around McLean. To a contest at half forward. Kennedy, good vertical leap. Johnston shovels the handball out. Fortuitous bounce. Dunn to Jones. Good kick wide. Bruce. Oh, Jeff White, good presenting. Now Byron Pickett is freed up. And in his farewell game, Byron just can't get the finish. He was looking for it. 32 points, the split.
If he keeps trying, he'll get there eventually. It's a battle of the half-back line sweepers at the moment. Heath Scotland's had 23 disposals. Travis Johnstone, 25.
Add another one to Scotland's name, Danny, coming up here, although he's not sure what to do. So good carry. Then a long ball gives Wade a chance to leap early. Paul Johnson the spoil. Russell waiting down. Gives it to Houlihan. Wants to get on the right. Has a look. Goes for it. And Carlton have got 3 in a row. A late rally by the Blues.
Well, it starts from the half-back line. Great finish there from Ryan Houlihan. But Heath Scotland's having a purple patch. We just see the give and get. And it's a great play here. He had the awareness. If he had blazed away when he did on that half-back line, Melbourne would have swallowed it. But he ran and carried over the centre line, and that long penetrating kick was always going to put the Melbourne defence under the pump. And that's one hell of a finish. He's a class act with his feet, Ryan Houlihan.
His second goal. (12-9), play 7:13 now. Bounce not a good one. Should be easy for Jones to get boot to ball. Bannister leads in the race for it. Took him 7 years to get to the 50-game milestone. Bannister, dangerous kick there for Ackland. White the spoil. Pickett running onto it. Did well.
Good vision.
And lays it off for Miller. Has men running down the corridor. McLean to Johnston. He's done everything else, so why not get a classy goal? Day out for Travis Johnston.
It's going to be a very good lesson for Bryce Gibbs. When Melbourne had the ball there, he just spectated. And when he spectated the ball, Travis Johnston got goal side. I'm sure whether we'll see it on the screen here, but there's the run from McLean. You see Bryce Gibbs just behind Travis Johnston there. Just a split minute through the middle of the ground. And that's what AFL football is all about, making the split decision at the correct time. And at that stage, he just spectated the ball. And a player such as Travis Johnston, he'll always make you pay. He heard that Heath Scotland was catching up on him, Clinton. He's got 26 now. He's kicked a goal. He hasn't.
Put some mustard on it. Wrestle on between Waite at the other end of the ground, and Paul Johnson comes to nothing. McDonald for Dunn. Now Bode. O'Halpin. Good defensive play. Backed himself to take it. Feeds Walker, and he can release for Ackland. Goes to the northern wing for Gibbs. No mark, no free, but a great recovery. Very nimble. Not sure what to do now. Uses Grigg, Carazzo, Scotland, Bauer. Chain of handballs, ends with Walker. Now they cross the line. They need a good bounce. They get it. Houlihan to Eddie Betts. Swings on the left from 35 and puts it across the face of goal.
Well, a fair few goals going missing at the Demons end, and all of a sudden Eddie's just missed it. One he should have chopped up.
13-9, play 7:14.
This is a good breakaway.
Although Brown unable to mark, Waite just got there, wrapped him up. Houlihan can go to Betts. Eddie thinking. Well, not sure where he was going. Ferguson unable to take the mark, takes it out of bounds. Oh, deliberate.
You're going to bring it in, then you can decide to go for the easy option.
What other option did he have? I'd love to have a look at that.
I think it's the right decision from the umpire. Didn't have too many other options, but he did drag it in and then dragged it out.
Whitnell goes deep, too far across. Russell should give off the handball here because he had a man waiting out in Hampson. He went himself and the kick was smothered.
Let's have a look. So he brings the ball in. And he knows he's in trouble.
Good call.
So he goes to touchdown.
Yeah, it should have been the touchdown at the first time.
Yeah, should have just squirted it over. That's
must be a free kick to Bryce Gibbs. Is he within range? Would have to kick it from on the 50. Doesn't look confident. Now with no other options, may have to.
Torpedo.
Or in your first year?
Yeah, go for correct. Last game.
You're allowed to in your last goal. Rats can't drop him. Already he's kicked one tonight, Bryce Gibbs. Kicked a goal, remember, with his first kick in his first game against the Tigers back in round one, which was our first Sunday night football game here on Fox Sports AFL. They're 31 points behind. Gibbs from just inside the 50 goes for the drop punt and squeezes it home. And the Blues have got a 4-goal to 1 quarter unfolded.
That's a terrific kick. 2 goals to Bryce Gibbs on Travis Johnson. That's the best way to hurt.
Yep.
Travis Gerrard, good attack on the contest there. Lyndon Dunn just overzealous. Just had to corral Gibbs as he went to the ground here, but just followed through with the tackle. So there's only going to be one decision there. It was a free kick to Gibbs, but it's a good start.
Get out the square, come on.
Very generous, the umpire. Could have awarded a penalty against, looks like a Melbourne trainer there with the bottle.
Yep.
There he is.
JJ, our director, just going to shame him.
Yes.
He thought he'd got away without being spotted as Jamar effects the hit out. Tell you what, can Carlton get the next goal? That would make it interesting here.
I bet he's kicking it the wrong way.
Yeah, mate, do a double take there. Bannister giving it away. They're suddenly hard at it. Walker is running, sending it out towards half forward, and Houlihan getting involved. Juggles the mark. Can he hit a target inside 50? Leading wide. Whitnell getting back in a wrestle. Paul Johnson, good mark. And now Ward releases for Green. And he's got Pickett on the members' wing. Byron for Miller has presented well today. 8 marks. Centering kick. Chris Johnson.
Come up for me to Bryce. Come on. Goals.
Chips it inside the 50. O'Halpin, good help defence. Bounce kind for Jamison to give to Walker. Although he's going to cough it up. Although untimely slip for Ferguson. Pickett now.
Line.
Wide ball, Bate.
On the white line for Mark Hawks. On the white line. Right on that white line.
Approaching the halfway mark of the third quarter. Quarter where Carlton are enjoying the run. 4 goals to 1. Bate sending it deep. It'll land about a metre out. Too far. Easy for the defence to score.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Matthew Bate presents next year, Danny. I think 12 months ago he looked to me to be well and truly on the way to becoming a genuine A-grader. I reckon he's levelled off a fair bit this year. Hasn't taken too many strides forward. But we all know he's got enormous quality. It's a question of whether or not he's prepared to get the job done over summer and produce it, I guess, regularly next season.
Well, you're right, Jared. You can get away with it for a season as a youngster, but it's when the opposition then start to put some heat on you, then you have to go to another level. And that's the challenge for young Matthew Bate.
Here's McLean from midfield. Chris Johnson delivers to McDonald, who goes long. Miller and Robertson getting back. Well, Jamison's hit the boundary line for a throw-in.
And not all that pleased were the Demon faithful.
He was lucky there, but the Melbourne forwards again, too many forwards flying. Have a look at this.
Yeah.
Defenders love that. It means there's 8 sets of arms going at the one ball.
That was deliberate, surely.
Yep. Gibbs away. Carlton can run. Kreuzer from centre-half back, kicking to centre-half forward, where Waite's coming out on Ferguson.
Magnificent Ferguson.
Gee, remember he did that one day and ended up with a punctured lung against the Bulldogs early last year. That was brave. Stymied one Carlton attacking rush, but they might be heading back in there. Betts, Gibbs, Kreuzer, again getting plenty of the football, uses it well there for Simpson.
Play on!
And he's going out wide to Houlihan, making him work though. Can he run away from Ward? He will. It opens up for Houlihan, who drives it at goal and misses to the near side. That was for his third.
Well, this was great courage here from Ferguson. And to Jared Waite's benefit, I think that's good play from Waite. Nothing on the end of this game, seriously. All that could have happened there was a serious injury. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, Jared.
Yep, no question about that, Spud. I think that you made the right case.
Scotland with now 27 uses of the football, above his season average of 25. Simpson gets plenty of it. Average 18 per game. Coming up for number 12 today. Gibbs getting plenty of it as well. Goes short, Kreuzer again. Getting a good run of the football here, Carlton.
Been played between 2 half-back lines at the moment.
Bauer, they don't want to kick to a contest. This is Hampson, the 19-year-old out of Mount Gravatt in Queensland. Made his debut last week with a couple of possessions, kicking to half forward. Houlihan pushed out of it.
He's been terrific this quarter, Houlihan. He's given them a target, and normally if he gets the ball forward the centre, it will end up in a teammate's hands. You just see the replay. Well, they paid that one. They haven't been consistent with that one tonight because it was 3 or 4 early on. The umpires didn't pay at all.
They'll drive it into the forward 50, hoping for a packed mark. Melbourne climb high to affect the spoil. Plenty of numbers waiting down. Chris Johnson to Brock McLean. And away from Eddie Betts. Now Ward draws the defence, feeds it off to Travis Johnstone. And very, very cool, but the kick let him down. O'Halpin marks on the outer wing. And now Carlton will try to use the centre corridor. The kick's in the Jackson direction. He's about to be under the pump from Bode. Oh, going in with courage. Typifying his entire career, Nathan Brown, in that one passage of play. And he's up and running. He wants it from the first game of Bode. He doesn't get it. Bode goes to Green, who fires long to Newton. Could spoil Jamison. Melbourne fans say he had a piece of the jumper. And then a theatrical roll from Newton as well. Betts, spot a bother here. Mark taken by Ferguson. Back to Eddie Betts. Have another go. Turnover City. Jackson.
That'll do that. Play on.
Gibbs goes to Walker against Bode. Good duel. And Walker stood his ground well. And takes off. Closes to 55 and spears it onto the chest of Jared White, who, if he kicks truly, and he will now, he's got 50, he's going to have Carlton back into the football game.
Quick ball movement there from the Blues. Put any defence under the punt.
50 metres.
Travis, careful, that man hands out the Brownlow votes. White gets the goal. Would you believe it's a 19-point game?
It's been all Carlton this quarter. And I think Houlihan's been inspired moving the half-forward line. He's now moved to full forward.
I think the bottom line, Spud, is that Carlton have gone forward and found a way to kick goals, whereas Melbourne's gone forward and have just butchered so many opportunities. Blokes trying to take mark of the year, missed shots that should have gone through, etc. And all of a sudden now Melbourne are going to have to work for this victory.
White coming from the ground. Straight after kicking his first goal.
Whitnell on.
The 100th goal of Jared White's AFL career. Jones dragged it in and gets away. Took them on well. And got it to Bate.
Needs to move the ball quickly.
Presenting is Travis Johnstone. Inside of 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. We've just entered the time on period. Melbourne's 41-point half-time lead has been eased back to 19. Oh, is there some risk? Oh, the mark is paid.
He never dies wondering, Travis Johnson, with kicks like that.
And Bate also. Brown doesn't take the mark, but did enough to hurt Russell. So Brown's away. 45 out on the run. In his final game, a farewell goal, and it was a beauty.
That's a fantastic goal to Nathan Brown. He's the guy that had to mark the ball. Jordan Russell was coming at him here. You see Eddie Betts nearly get the spoil there on Bate, but that was a fantastic goal. We see Nathan Brown and Jordan Russell there. A clash. And just had the awareness, stayed on his feet. It's great to see him kick a goal.
And a great celebration too from Brown following the goal. Just his third for the season. There's Russell. Wants to run it out. Some breathing space again for Melbourne. Remember, if they win, Carlton get the top pick in the national draft. If the Blues somehow conjure up a remarkable fight back and win, Richmond get the top pick. Robertson away. Could be two in a minute. The backstop for Scotland. Now Bauer going to the outer side. Walker had it slapped away by Bode. Bruce sends a hurrying kick into the pocket where Bates marked it in the field of play.
That's ball, you want it there? That's ready, on the mark.
Tough shot from here.
Play on!
In reality,
is that fact correct?
Well, just noticed 3 or 4 times when he marks the ball about 40 out, he just doesn't get back off the mark quick enough. It's as if all I'm going to do is have a shot on goal. Needs to get the ball quickly, get back off the mark, and assess options up the ground 2 or 3 times.
A bit more urgency, mate.
No doubt. No doubt.
Fireworks going off in the background.
And it knocked away by Ward. Done. And it's over for a boundary throw-in. 14-11 to 9-15. 4 minutes to go, third quarter. Travis Johnstone with the Demons looking like they have steadied. Robertson could yet take the mark of the year. He's got a quarter and 3.5 minutes, but it's Carlton with the football for the time being through Cade Simpson. Goes short for Walker.
Good pressure, Green. Took the dive.
And Bentic did well. Got it on to Simpson. Brown is in front of Russell. Houlihan coming out. Pushed off it by Jones. Carroll now. For McDonald, they're just one step ahead for the time being. Loose,
here,
loose man on half-back, it's Ward.
He's got Johnson also up the ground.
Seagull scatter as the kick comes to Johnston. He will drive it deep in the Robertson. Direction again.
If you keep trying, Jared, you keep trying. The Melbourne crowd happy with that one, Clinton.
And why not? He's been waiting a while for it. It won't win him the car, but it might get him the mark of the round on the winners anyway.
What's his 11th attempt? Going to come up at some stage. Well, why not this stage of the year in the game?
And now for his 4th goal, so it's a handy return for Robbo. Demons break the century and enjoy a 32-point lead again after Carlton had closed to within 3 goals.
Fireworks went off a little bit early.
Well, they did, but this man here, Jared, Travis Johnstone, 33 disposals.
He just
a well-weighted kick. He sensed that the Carlton player was playing in front. Heath, I'll just put it on top of your head, son, and look out. See this kick here? It's right on top of Scotland. And cop that, Heath. Beautiful grab.
No hands.
No. Look, no.
It's a great game, AFL footy, when you see things such as that. With Newton in the first half, now Robbo. It's over to Newton now, Clinton.
The onus,
15 all.
Onus back on the kid. Might get his chance shortly. Ball's coming in again. And this time Bowers reading it well. Just 19 years of age from the Peel Thunder. Kennedy. Another WA lad. Oh, 41 down at the half. Up to within 3 goals, but Melbourne with the last 2 just to wrestle back momentum. Contest on the wing. Bruce, quick hands. Bate turning it straight to Kennedy, who lost out to Bruce. Wait in the right place. Free kick up.
That handball was never on from Cameron Bruce. He actually won the ball really well and then just gave it straight back up. I think he was looking for the feint and it didn't eventuate.
Oh, Halpin.
It's a chance.
70 metres out, driving it long. Whitnall's direction. Bessel the spoil bets as Eddie does best. As good as any in the AFL with crumbing goals like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, actually. Eddie, I reckon, is going to be there at abouts for one of the goals of the year earlier in the season.
Yeah.
But it's a nice bit of crumbing work. Junior McDonald tried to close him down, but not quick enough.
But admired Josh Kennedy too here, Jared. Just didn't mark the ball, but got in front of the pack and just forced Bizzle. All he could do was spoil the ball there. So as a forward, young forward, all you can do is keep presenting and try and bring your teammates into the game. And he did on that occasion, because when you jump like that, Betts had only one place to go, and that was front and square.
26 points the difference as the ruckman with an ungainly attempt to go at it will do it again. Will they? They will.
Fine, locked in. Thanks, Paul.
Minute 13 to travel in the third quarter.
Good bounce.
Bentic caught high by Newton, got away with it. Carlton break away. And they close the gap again. Russell looking for the give-off. Well, made Eklund work for it. Big man's equal to it. Now on the end of it, Mark Austin, the first gamer, elects to unselfishly go to the pocket for weight. And Ferguson affects the spoil.
He'll learn from that. That was his first option. But if he had just raised his eyes, he would have seen Lance Whitnell leading to the fat side. So that would have been a more dangerous kick.
Pressing late in the quarter, Carlton, trying to get one back, give them some life going into the last. Done. Clearance for Melbourne, good kick. And Bate the mark. And 50. So now the Demon's going to be a big shot.
He kicked it himself.
Man on the mark will be spotted at about 48. Yep, that's a 50. Kreuzer pointing to his man, but
it was a 70-metre 50.
So Bate launches it. A good 55. Big goal to finish the third quarter for the Demons. They're back out to a 32-point advantage.
Very impressive third quarter. Matthew Bate kicking the 2 goals. The 50 there, about 20 metres outside the Carlton forward 50, and that is one hell of a 50, Jared.
Yeah, it's a big 50. He's a big kick too, Matthew Bate. If he can become the hardest working player in the club, he can become the best player in the club. Got enormous upside, great talent.
In the circle, guys.
Been asked to play in a pretty pivotal position, sort of that hit-up player, centre-half forward, extra midfielder coming out of the forward line. Should have a look at Mark Rashudo, get the files of his games out, just have a look at what he could build himself into.
Robertson might have a kick at goal after the siren for his 5th.
Impossible to defend out of the centre. Young Jamison was right on, Robbo. The kick was too good.
Smashed them in the centre clearances too, Danny. 15 to 9.
Well, Jones has been terrific in there. James McDonald, Brock McLean. You'd expect them, more senior players, against the young Carlton midfield.
So what started as a very bright Carlton quarter may end with 4 of the last 5 goals going Melbourne's way. But Robertson's kick is stopped short of the scoreline. 3-quarter time, 1 quarter left in the home and away season. Melbourne leading by 32 points.
Well, it had it all. It had big marks, plenty of goals, not a lot of tackling and pressure, as you said, Danny. It's just been basically keepings off in many respects, but it looked like Carlton coming with a rush there at one stage. Melbourne have steadied, and they've got the job just about completed.
16-11 to 10-15. The careers of 3 Demons will come to an end when we return from the MCG Fox Sports AFL Sunday Night Football.
He never dies wondering, Travis Johnson, with kicks like that.
And Bate also. Brown doesn't take the mark, but did enough to hurt Russell. So Brown's away. 45 out on the run in his final game. A farewell goal, and it was a beauty. Not quite the game winner, but the celebration worthy of one for the 31-year-old Nathan Brown, who has a quarter left on his AFL career. Melbourne by 32 points entering the last. Robertson with 4 goals. Travis Johnston's had it 34 times. Their assistant coach Paul Williams downstairs with the lead.
Willow, no finals, but finish off the last quarter.
Yeah, it's really important. I suppose it's been a pretty good hit out, and they've just got to make sure they don't get into any bad habits. We don't want them running forward of the footy, and we want to make sure they stay around the contest. And you don't want to skunk out too much. So that's the main message for him.
Travis Johnson's had a fair afternoon.
Yeah, he's been terrific. I think he's touched it 30 times, and we wanted to see if he could actually play that role against on half back like the Peter Burgoynes and that type of player. So we know he's a quality user, and he's been terrific for us.
Thanks, Willow.
Thanks, Colby. Cheers.
Well, I think they found out that he can play that role. I would have thought it was, for a bloke like Travis Johnson, one of the better, more easy roles to play, Danny, given that he can just basically play on his own terms.
Well, he can dictate his own starting positions, but again, when you get up against playing against quality opposition who really hit up the target when they see a player zone off, you then have to defend and be accountable. Yep. So that's the next challenge for Travis next year if he's going to play that role.
Final quarter of the season in terms of the home and away players underway. Demons to the right, Blues to the left. Carlton have won just one of their last 20 final quarters. If you're fancying to put a wager on from this deep deficit. Oh, they might still be some highlights though, and that's Hampson. He's got an 86-centimetre vertical leap, similar to Spud in his prime. As Walker goes down to Whitnell on the lead, couldn't hang on to it. It's Eddie Betts time, and Eddie loves these.
Great goal.
Number 3 for Eddie. And Carlton start the final stanza with a goal in the opening minute.
Well, it was a great leap from young Sean Hampson, Clinton, and that's effective. You see it here. We've got all of 86 centimetres there, probably about 82 more than I did. But that's the future. He started in the centre, which is terrific. He's playing on the veteran Jeff White, so you can never stop improving in this game, and that's good ball use.
It's a good effort by Lance Whitnell there. He didn't actually end up winning the footy, but that would have hurt. He provided a crumb and a goal for Eddie,
who's now picked up 19 goals this season from his 17 matches. He was a goal a game in his first season, 19 from 19, 20 goals from 21 games last year, and a similar pace here in 07. So, can the Blues put some more pressure back on Melbourne and to ensure that it's just not a coronation for their 3 departing players here? Simpson carrying it, kicking long into the pocket. Wait and let the back, Lance Whitnell. Can he pick it up? No. Boundary throw. Had a chance, if he could pick it up there, that he could have had a shot from a tight angle. Anyway, the ball will be tossed back in. Dangerous near the centre corridor. White knocking it down. Bizzle will go to the line. Couldn't get there, and Houlihan sees it over. Winner of this match to finish 14th, the loser 15th if it's Carlton. Courtesy of the priority pick, they'll get the number 1 slot in the draft as Bentic recovers his own miss. Eddie for number 4. Not quite. Out of bounds, we'll have another throw-in. Pressing, though, the Blues early in the last quarter.
Well, it's a question of work right now for the Demons, whether they're prepared to put the pressure on or just sit comfortably hoping that the lead will be enough to sustain them.
Bizzle bangs it out of the danger zone. Bauer in good position. It's time to steady. Bannister towards Wade on the lead, and standing his ground well was Green. No mark. Wade. Turnover on the hurried handball to Bruce. Ferguson back to Bruce. Now Ward running. And the mark.
He's got some talent.
And 50. Good improvisation from O'Halpin, and he wins the 50.
He's got good lateral movement for a player as tall as him, because he was in the back position. They just had the lateral movement to get in front of J-Mar. He's a raw talent.
He elects to go by hand pass to Houlihan, who spears it into the forward 50, and a big leap from Hampson, and hangs onto it.
There's that vertical leap again, Clinton.
He may have something. The Blues, they may have a kid here.
Pick number 17 in last year's draft, as we have a look at the hanging on from J-Mar that set up the 50. Sean Hampson for his first goal in AFL football. Would be timely for his club, would keep them alive. The kick is good.
Good on him.
And good to see the spirit there amongst the Carlton players as well, as Sean Hampson, in just his 3rd year of Australian rules football, his first AFL season after being a soccer player, kicks a goal.
Well, it was a great mark, a great kick. You can talk about league football till you're blue in the face, Jared, but a couple of games he's had leading into a pre-season is going to be exciting for that youngster.
Geez, that was exciting, wasn't it? He just swallowed that like his old man was Stephen Kernahan. And I'm pretty sure he's not.
He wasn't, because I met him last week at the Dome before the Kangaroos game, and with the accent, Jared, maybe the Scottish soccer Stephen Kernahan, but certainly not an AFL man, as Bauer sending it out wide. Intercepting it is Johnstone. We've got a 20-point game here as Carlton look for a seemingly impossible comeback win. Robertson going for the line. That'd be the phone then. White to contest with Hampson. I know you've got the kids today, Jared. Green kicking up towards the full forward zone. Here's Bauer, happy to concede it behind.
I think it was Richmond ringing up to see who's in front.
That's right. I think they know.
They'll have pick number 2. Still handy. Simpson to bring it back into play.
Winning code. Play on.
Eddie Betts covering some ground.
Back 2 metres, Junior. Thanks, mate.
The run and carry from both teams at the moment has dissipated. Just kicking to contests. Kick to kick at the moment.
Good use of the body by Bizzle. Kicks to the centre corridor for Green. Had a cursory look over his right shoulder. Saw that he was free. Goes to Bruce. Play on, said the umpire, under the Simpson spoil. Betts in support. Now Cade Simpson. Can they get some momentum? No, the kick errant. Forced Kennedy to dive. McLean to Bate. Caught by Bauer. Holding the ball. And Bauer goes wide to the southern wing for Murphy. A heartbeat away from being a 50. Mike Murphy having a longing look at Matthew Nichols, the umpire. Margin is 21.
Play on.
Carroll and Whitnell engage in a wrestle. McLean, does he keep it in? He does. Johnston hugs the boundary line for Green.
Play on, no more.
Getting a little sloppy. Bate. Miller with Walker to beat.
Play on.
Bannister charging through. Who will provide the gut-busting run here? Simpson at centre half back. Maybe it will come from the Irishman O'Halpin. Good pick up, the handball wide of Scotland though. Opens the door for White. Loose Melbourne players everywhere. McDonald can run. Elects to go to Robertson. Good spoil from behind. Excellent defensive work by Jamison, who gets it over for a throw-in. In fact, he does better than that. He wins the free.
Hasn't stopped trying all night, young Jamison. Recruited from Newland. David Mackay territory. Brad Sewell also from Newland, so good to see the youngster there, just never giving in.
This kid's fought back well. Bate was on top early and he's had an impact late.
Good transfer the Blues, but Ferguson stands his ground. That's a very good mark. Whitnell and White were in the vicinity. Melbourne just under some pressure here.
It's just not working at the moment. They've got half a dozen people running and the rest are just hoping someone will get them the footage.
Bate. Backpedaling. Sending it wide.
Well, the moment they have to do that because the half forwards of Melbourne are just standing in the middle of the ground, so they've got to run and carry over the lines.
Jamar plucks it out of the sky. McLean wants it deep against Bentic. He doesn't get it. Pickett, were they setting him up? The crowd was certainly in on the play. Now the Blues run. Simpson to Murphy. Good kick to midfield. Hampson with Scotland to his right. Jackson to his left. Jackson to Murphy. Is that 15 to Whitnell? Doesn't matter, he didn't mark it. Back for Hampson. Getting excited. Kicking to the top of the square. Bizzle the spoil. Ferguson back for Bizzle. Suddenly some pressure on the Melbourne defence out of nowhere. And they will survive as Johnson goes to the wing and Miller's got it.
Well, Andrew Walker should have swallowed that, but he overread it.
Here's Byron. Nathan Brown's got a farewell goal. Byron Pickett, your time to say goodbye to the G. A ground he knows so well. Great moment for the Demons. And for the Norm Smith medalist, the dual premiership winner, a former Rising Star. Will it be his final kick? If it is, Byron Pickett finishes in style.
Great to see. We saw Fraser Garrick yesterday with his last 2 kicks in league football resulting in goals. Great lateral movement. He's been a pleasure to watch, Byron Pickett. All we need now is Clint Bizzle to kick a goal. Nathan Brown's kicked one.
Well, he saved one about 5 minutes ago. In fact, he saved the one that ended up with Byron Pickett. Did Clint Bizzle. I'll tell you what, they have got a bit of a find in this soccer player, the Blues. He looks a real athlete.
His dad loves on the couch too, Gerald. You'd be happy to hear.
Pleased to hear that.
Bode away.
Good speed.
He can play. How's that for a finish? 2 in a minute for the Demons to snuff out any hope of a Carlton revival.
Well, there's the future. We just saw the pass and Byron Pickett is the future for the D's, Jared. We're all over this youngster nice and early in the game. And to play half forward, you need to break through the lines. You need to slice through the defence. And he's got the speed and the leg speed. I like the way he plays low to the ground also. He doesn't fumble at ground level.
I think Dean Bailey's given him a tick. Sitting in the grandstand, he may not have known who he was 10 weeks ago. Now he does.
Certainly does now. Well, we certainly do.
.120 playing 87. Jones to Travis Johnstone. Bode, good recovery. Now Travis Johnstone. The crowd today, 26,156. Respectable given the circumstances. Green going to the hot spot. Melbourne players back there. Robertson couldn't hang on to it. Now Russell. Gibbs under pressure. Oh, good hands, bent it. Back for Jamison. Now Russell.
Here he goes.
Will it sit for O'Halpin? Bizzle closing. O'Halpin tried to sell him the dummy. Kennedy lost sight of it. Hopelessly.
It was a header.
Newton sends it out wide. Dunn's pushed out. Melbourne fans thinking they've got the raw deal as you see the header.
I think Sean Hampson has taught him that Clinton from the soccer skills.
Carlton with the crumbs. Scotland unselfishly giving it off, but it's not 15 to Greg.
It's on the ball.
It's 19 to 8 for free kicks now. Carlton with 19.
Well, probably East Scotland should have kicked this. If you're not going to be able to mark it, there's no point doing that. You might as well go back and have a shot at goal.
It's just silly, isn't it? Modern games come to this.
What prior opportunity did he have though, Jared?
Did he drag it in?
I don't think he did. I think it landed in between his legs.
Bizzle. Send him forward, Mark Wright. Miller at full stretch. Boundary try. Approaching the halfway mark of this final quarter of the final game of the 2007 home and away season. 176 games. You saw them all on Fox Sports AFL. 88 of them exclusively live. There's Travis Johnstone. Gives it to Newton. And we've loved every minute of it. As White takes the mark. Brown. Sending it deep towards Robertson again. No one to jump over. Ferguson waiting down.
He's keen for a goal.
He is. Don't get it there. Sends it way out of bounds.
There's really no need to kick around the corner there. He could have easily straightened up, gone bang, but probably worry about it next year.
Put the two of you on notice for your highlight of the home and away season over the course of the next 10 minutes, with Melbourne leading by 33 points. Bauer going towards the wing. Whitnell there in front of Carroll winning a free. Demon fans getting a little restless with the men in yellow. Whitnell short. Marking it is Grigg.
Well played, Bizzle.
Takes it nicely. Your fondest memory of the season, Danny?
In a team sense, it'd have to be Geelong. Geelong's form this year's been super. We're talking individual or...
Yeah, we're just
individual.
a moment.
Yeah, a moment. Just give me a moment.
All right, Brown from half back. In the final moments of his career, this kick intercepted by Grigg.
Yesterday's last quarter from Lucas takes some beating. I know that they didn't win the game, but that's an amazing effort. Lance Franklin out here kicking 5 goals in a quarter from the youngster. It was a terrific moment.
I think we've been blessed by just seeing some of the great superstars going out. They've gone out really well.
Johnston tackled by Simpson. Melbourne fans still irate as Carlton rush it forward. Scotland going to Houlihan. Got to mark it. There's 3 demons there. And it's Ferguson leaping over the top. Those folks out of their seat. And I'm sure the AFL will handle it well on grand final day. But the tribute to our retiring greats, there's going to be 20, 25 players out there.
I thought they said at least an extra half an hour in the pre-game. All the players retiring.
Yeah.
Kreuzer Garrick was one they didn't factor in for yesterday.
And I don't think Chris Johnson either.
Yeah. Here's Travis Johnston marking 60 metres out.
He's given the umpire a fair old serve after the last call.
Brown. We saw a great farewell here 7 days ago.
We did. That was a highlight of the season. Get under that one.
There's White, sends a high ball towards the behind line.
And the one yesterday over at Subiaco was done quite superbly. Here's the big grab from Ferguson.
That was another individual highlight. Newton at the Dome for Mark of the Year, more than likely. As Ackland marks defensive side of the northern wing. 34 points is the margin. So the Blues will lose their final 11 games of the year. 6 of them under Brett Ratton. But they will get the coveted #1 pick. 3 picks in the top 20 in the national draft. Give them a bargaining chip at the trade table. They'll have 2nd pick in the pre-season draft behind Richmond. #1 pick in the national draft. As Houlihan drives it long to the goal square. Who's waiting at the back? Bizzle concedes it behind. (18-13) plays 12-16. Where are all these former players going to go now? I mean, there's not too many chairs up here in the commentary booth and a few to assistant coaching.
That's the normal route for a few.
McLean goes to J-Mo. Brown. I don't see either of you two standing down.
I think Kreuzer Garrick's the type of guy that
I don't think we'll see him up here. He's off to Europe. Wave goodbye for 6 months and then we'll see him. Newton going long. Robertson will get another crack at his 5th goal.
Well, it was a good kick. And it was a very good grab. His direct opponent was playing 20 metres in front. The kick drew Robertson.
In fact, the game's in slow motion at the moment, except when it gets within 40 metres of goal. Then it's red hot.
So Robertson for his 5th with 6 minutes to play in the season. He's got it now. 41 for the year, so he'll be a clear winner in the Melbourne goal kicking. He'll win that award for a 3rd time. Here's a former best and fairest winner.
See young Jamison here. Just had to body line the ball. He'll learn from that. It's been a great game, Robertson, but I've also admired young Jamison. He plays in front, he has a crack, but he'll learn from his starting positions.
He must have a problem with that left shoulder because there wasn't any bump on it. It might have just popped. Or he's got a dead arm.
How's he looking down there, Lee Colbert?
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're actually taking him up the race to assess him, so I'll give you an update very soon, men.
Thanks, Lee. Sorry to disturb you in the
closing stages of this one.
There might be a job downstairs, boys.
Newton hurrying a kick forward. Getting back is Kate Simpson. Oh, you've been terrific, Lee, this year. Gibbs.
Snakes and
Eagles. Alligators.
He's brilliant. Greg from midfield. No other boundary rider's done that. Scotland sending it to Gibbs. Can we get another specky here late in the goal? That's a bit of a push. Just the wee one.
That's a push every day of the week. Except to use his forearm here.
They turn it over though. And Eddie Betts elects to give it off. Then Walker kicks a goal anyway.
Mark Jomo. He had the resultant free kick. I'm pretty sure he decided a handball there, and Eddie Betts was all over it.
Lurking. Look at that. He's got all the tricks.
Might be the highlights package, that one in the magic moments, Clinton.
No, Mark will be hoping we didn't get it.
I just sense our magic moment's going to be in the finals, so I just sense we're going to have a final series. Exciting, it's open.
Well, it is open, isn't it? Who's your tip to be there on the final, say, fortnight, the final four?
Well, it's going to be Geelong, Port or the Eagles for mine. They're going to play
on the last Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. Jared?
I suspect Collingwood can get there, but
didn't you tip Sydney early for next week?
I did.
You did.
Well, I'm going to tip Sydney, I've got to say, but I think Collingwood, if they can get across Sydney, then I think they can do damage, but Sydney's their biggest concern.
Scotland on the run as Carlton try to finish the year in a flurry, but he just misses.
I was really bullish on Hawthorn up until today, but after today, you just couldn't back him with bad money. I tried that. Geelong clearly for mine still the standout. West Coast through the likes of Nikoski and Prittis, who may be injured, but if they can just get to the preliminary final, they get their better players back. I'm not sure Judd's going to have a huge impact on these finals. Great.
Brad Miller having a good way to finish the season is Miller. That is mark number 11.
He's worked extremely hard, and that's a terrific grab. Normally see Brad Miller, he stops down and mark, he's coming up around the wing on the lead. If he can get this part of his game together, the contested marking, he will be a harder player to play on.
Well, we've flipped and flopped with him, haven't we, as to what his best position is. Dropped out of the leadership group this year by the Demons, kicked just 9 goals for the season. And he can do that. Take a dozen marks, kick truly from 50.
Spot on, Clinton. This time last year he finished with the flurry as well in the finals. If you remember, especially over at Subiaco against Fremantle. So just needs to obviously be consistent in his work rate. That's the only thing I can think. It's hard to comment when you're sitting and watching a guy play, but his work rate tonight's been super. He presents, and if he get this side of his game, because one thing he probably doesn't do enough is bring other players into the game by turning back and taking these contested marks, because he'll always get the ball up around the wing, and sometimes opposition sides will allow that to happen.
How far can the Kangaroos go, Spud?
I think they're every chance next week. They'll give themselves, and rightly so, a realistic chance of winning that game next week, because 2 weeks ago, only their inaccuracy, they got within 2.5 goals in the 15-minute mark of the last quarter against Geelong. So
Andy Shansbury's kicked 5 again today. Has had a very interesting last 6 or 7 weeks of the season, where he's become one of the danger players for the Kangas.
We'll be having the finals venues and details with Gillan McLaughlin from the AFL joining us straight after our game coverage here, which has a tick over 3 minutes to play. The margin 38 points. There's Mark Murphy. Looks to run it out of defence for the Blues. Good spoil Ward away from Betts.
With the Kangaroos, Michael Ferrito is going to be super important. When you have a look at Geelong's makeup, you've got Mooney, maybe Nathan Ablett. Otten's pushing forward. Michael Ferrito didn't play today. I know Josh Gibson did, but they desperately need Michael Ferrito fit, because the last 3 weeks it looks like he's been labouring a little bit with his foot, with his heel, so he's going to be super important to their setup.
Dangerous centering ball by McLean, intercepted by White, who shrugs a couple of would-be tacklers, and Carlton have got men queuing up. Murphy elects to go to Eddie Betts, who can play on here and kick the goal himself, and he does, and Eddie Betts finishes up with 4.
Well, I must say, both sides have kicked over 100 points. There hasn't been a lot of collisions out there today, we can see one there, but at least both sides have tried to play attacking football. 100 points normally wins you a game of league football, but Melbourne today, they've kicked 133, so there's been some positive out of both sides playing today. There's a lot of people watching at the ground and more importantly at home on Fox Sports. We've seen a lot of future stars for both clubs.
133 playing 101. Who finishes above the other on the ladder next year out of these two clubs?
I think Melbourne will finish not maybe 8 next year. I don't think Carlton can.
Eddie Betts can get number 5.
Yeah, Melbourne were ravaged with injury at the start of the year, so if they can have their best players on the park, they'll be a very good chance of playing the finals.
Only Jeff White playing all 22 games from the Demons. 2 minutes left of the home and away season. Eddie Betts trying to finish in style. This for number 5 for himself, and for a 5-goal last quarter for the Blues. Something for their fans to cheer about. Bit of a celebration happening there for many.
25 disposals from the half-forward flanker. 9 contested possessions. 5 goals won. And there's the future again. Gibbs out of the middle. Super grab.
Yeah. Speaking of disposals, we should mention Travis Johnstone up to 42.
Big effort.
Heath Scotland 39.
81 disposals between them. Might come back as a halfback flanker next time around, Jared, I think.
Good idea.
What's that?
Not sure, Clinton, but you've got the whole summer to find out.
Right.
Do some research.
Wasn't it? 26 points, the margin.
Playing the piano. Bit of Liberace.
Is he your favourite pianist, is he?
Not really. It'll take me a while to get the relevancy of that, Spud, but still. They're going forward again. And he gets a free. He's off.
He's on fire.
He wants to get 6.
Go, Eddie.
Oh, he's unselfishly drives it into the pocket where Scotland is wrapped up by Bizzle and then sends it out of bounds for a throw-in.
Again, Scotland heard you, Clinton. He's now got 40 disposals.
Yep.
2 behind Travis Johnstone.
Right to the most bitter of ends. Getting some big numbers. 26 down. Tick over a minute to go. And they get another goal. It's like a rugby union line out there. Speaking of which, World Cup coming up on Fox Sports starting very shortly.
Bizzle.
Oh, Pickett, just for old time's sake, slinging Greg to the ground, and he said, gee, that felt good. Last time I can do that legally. Scotland has 41, and that's a beauty. Bauer for the Houlihan. Carlton finishing with a rush. Of sorts. "45 seconds from time." Did he enjoy that?
Well, he did enjoy it. I just watched it after it. Clinton, he grims. But he did go and pat young Greg on the back after that.
Yeah. Question is, can Heath Scotland get another touch?
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Or can Melbourne engineer something for Brown, Bizzle or Pickett, the retiring trio? There's one, there's the other. Byron nowhere to be seen as we head into the final half minute. And the crowd sing along.
And well done to Mark Riley too, boys. I think he's under trying circumstances to take over from his coach in Neil Dennis. You see the trumpeter there. 3 wins is a great effort. He's leading the Melbourne coaching and senior job as a winner, Jerry.
Yeah, he's done well, Mark. Really tough at the time when he did take over, and didn't have a lot of support from the medical room, given that he had a lot of injured players. Orchestrated a victory here. I don't mind the trumpeter.
Trumpeter's a good sign. Mark Riley finishes his coaching career with a victory.
So does Brown, so does Bizzle, so does Pickett. The season will end with the football in the hands of Russell Robertson. It would be fitting if he can finish with a goal. Something to take over the summer. Melbourne close out the year with a victory. Well done to Byron, Pickett and company on terrific careers. And Matthew Kreuzer is bound for Carlton.
Stars retiring this year, Jared.
Amazing, isn't it, Danny? And there's one of them, Byron Pickett. Just seems a more extraordinary group than ever before, in recent times at least, that are leaving the game. And, well, there's another one in Clint Bizzle, Jeff White, and Brock McLean. Just saying farewell to him. The brothers saying goodbye. And, it is going to be an amazing day on Grand Final day to see all these great players go out, because there has been so many. I'm pleased for Nathan Brown, got that goal. He had a very good game, in fact. Worked really hard, didn't lower his standards.
Well, we've got them all down there alongside of Lee Carlton. Lee?
I'm with the 3 retirees, 513 games, boys. Brownie, what a way to finish MCG under lights.
Unbelievable finish at home. Pretty good win in the end, but with three good blokes going out of the Demons team.
And Harry, the family down today, all the way down from Queensland. It's been a big ride, hasn't it?
It has, mate. The last week's been very emotional, and it's just great to play a career belong out here at Melbourne and with some great blokes, and finishing like this is sensational, especially a win, mate. It's great.
And Chop, mate, you've done it all, mate. Grand finals, Norm Smiths, and you've just been a sensation, and your family are proud of you, mate. Well done.
Oh, yeah, I certainly hope so. I just want to say I really obviously enjoyed playing footy, and I didn't really... when I first started, I didn't think I'd played 200 games, and at a footy club for 6 or so years, and just to do that is a privilege. And I just want to say hello to all my family back home in West Australia. My kids, Mrs. Becky, they couldn't be here tonight, so I brought my mum and dad. Mum and dad started when I started, so I thought I'd finish with mum and dad as well.
Good on you, mate. It's the most I've ever heard you talk, Chop, but I'll tell you, it's sensational. But Brownie, it's been a great club, this Melbourne Footy Club, isn't it? And the future's looking pretty good.
Yeah, as you've seen tonight, a few of the kids went really well. And, obviously we're just supporters now, and we'll be barracking for them hard next year as hopefully they can rebound, because I think the quality's there to work with for Bales.
The new boy.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy it, lads, and I know the off-season you'll certainly have a good time. Good luck, boys.
Thanks a lot, Colby. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, brother.
Good on you, Lee. Well done. Some great scenes across the country this weekend in the AFL. Byron Pickett's taken off now. Where's he going? Running down to the city end to say goodbye to someone. He might have seen some family in the crowd. Job well done for Byron Pickett, a rising star back in '98, All-Australian the following year. A couple of premierships with the Kangaroos and Port Adelaide famously. 20 possessions, 3 goals on this ground in Port Adelaide's grand final win of 2004, and will finish with 204 games alongside of his name. And the rest of the team are waiting for him, but they've now broken off. Why not acknowledge the Demon supporters of this 26,000 strong crowd that have turned out tonight?
Well, the Demon supporters are down the other end of the ground, and they've had a long, hard year too, Clinton. The Melbourne supporters, so it's great that the players are going down there to appreciate those supporters who Melbourne desperately need going forward.
And they were patient lot this year. Remember, they lost a lot of close games. They lost 4 games by a goal or less between rounds 6 and 13. Bombers by 2 points in Neil's farewell game. They lost to the Kangaroos here by a point. Bulldogs by 6. Port Adelaide by 5. Those games where Motlop stole a win, Swallows stole a win away from them. So that record could have been a lot better than the 5-17 that it finishes up.
Could have been, Clinton, but in essence, I think when they had those injuries early in the season, their goose was cooked. And I think now that rather than having a false dawn, it's pretty obvious that they've got a really good cluster of players to build with, but they still need to add at the bottom end if they're going to push on and get that flag that's been missing since 1964. Don't think they can rush it, Spud. I don't think they can try and recruit for a flag at the top end. It's just not quite there as we speak. But another year or two down the track, and it may change rapidly.
They desperately need to grow their own, Jared. And you look at the makeup of their team. Jeff White's not going to be around forever. They need to look at another young quality ruckman and a big power defender. They desperately need someone to lead them through that area. In Neil's reign, I don't think they had that sort of defender that could power the big gorilla forwards to be able to keep them in the game.
They traded hard, they recruited hard to try and achieve that, but in the end they just weren't able to find that person. And Jared Rivers clearly will come back, but to me he's the next person. If they can get another big one, a really big one, then in the, say, Matt Maguire mould or the Darren Glass mould, then or the Brett Rutten mould, then it's a key cornerstone in any aspirant towards a flag.
Just waiting for an armchair ride, those three. A weekend of tears for some in the AFL as they say goodbye. Do well to hang on to him, Nathan Brown, who grew up at Pinaroo in the South Australian Mallee, expecting to be a baker like his brothers and to join the Fire Brigade. He went to play 146 AFL games. Brown, Bezel and Pickett. Melbourne farewell a trio here today. They do so in victory. Stay with us. Dylan McLaughlin of the AFL joins us right after this for all the details on next week's finals. And the wrap from the gym. Melbourne and Carlton arrived at the MCG for Sunday night football. The Demons farewelling a trio of players in this final game of the home and away season. Early on, Michael Newton trying to repeat his Mark of the Year effort. From the other end, Lance Whitnell watched and decided to get involved. The Demons led by 32 points at quarter time. This from Russell Robertson had them 41 points clear on the half-time siren. But Carlton would rally in the third term after 5 misses. Lance Whitnell breaking through for a goal. But the Demons had the answers on this night. Matthew Bate, impressive. One of 2 goals he would kick. In the final term, well, with his final kick, Byron Pickett on a ground he knows so well for old time's sake. His last AFL kick a goal, and he would get the armchair ride as the Demons celebrate a 31-point victory. That's how it went, siren to siren on Sunday night football this week. Melbourne 21-13, 139 to Carlton 15-18, 108. The Demons kicked the first 7 goals of the match and were never headed. The Blues inaccurate early. Russell Robertson with 6, Eddie Betts with 5 at the other end. And look at the leading ball winners. Travis Johnstone saw it 42 times. Heath Scott won 41. For Carlton. In just a moment, all of the finals details with Gillan McLaughlin of the AFL. But first, let's head down to the victorious Melbourne Rooms. Their coach, Mark Riley, with Lee Colbert.
Mark, congratulations. Some exciting talent, some of those young boys, haven't they?
Yeah, a bit of talent out there, Lee. So we've sort of been saying all along that, it's not all doom and gloom. It hasn't been a fantastic year for us. But the flip side of the coin is we've been able to get games into Jones and Dunn and Newton and these boys, and there's a couple others. So I think the future goes very well for Melbourne Football Club. The game probably didn't reach any great heights, but we're just happy to win for Biz and for Browning and to celebrate the great career of a great Indigenous player in Byron Pickett.
Yeah, look, they were elated after the game, and Byron even did half a lap of honour on his own, so they've been sensational clubmen, haven't they?
Yeah, those 2 boys have been great Demons, and Byron has been a great ambassador for his people for a fantastic career. 200 games, 2-time premiership, Norm Smith, All-Australian, Love watching Byron play. I wish he'd go around again, but he told me on Wednesday that the Magic Man didn't have the music in him anymore, so he'll go on with his life and still proudly represent his people as a great ambassador.
And the message, mate, there was blokes taking screamers everywhere. Ferguson, Robertson, Newton, they were all jumping here at one stage.
Yeah, it was a bit like that, Colby. We just said, let's take the game on, and with that comes a lot of errors, and both teams are very young, and we had got the ball a bit quicker to Robbo. I think he might have had a field day, but even his own blokes were jumping into him, but they reckon that they owe Robbo a few of those ones anyway, because he tends to like to go for them himself. But yeah, we encourage the boys to go for the game. Thought Travis played very well off half-back. Anyway, we won't talk about too many individuals. It's been a long, hard slog, and what I'd really like to congratulate the guys on, Lee, is that there was not at one stage any fracturing or internal bickering or backstabbing. The boys have stuck solid in what's been a very, very difficult year, and I think that's good. That shows good character.
And well done to yourself, mate. Congratulations, and you've been terrific for me as well. Good on you.
Oh, thanks a lot, Lee. Appreciate it. Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Thank you to Lee Colbert downstairs with Mark Riley. Gillen McLaughlin, Chief Broadcasting Officer for the AFL, joins me. Gillen, thank you for that. As we have a look at the AFL ladder, you can tell us about a remarkable number for the AFL attendance-wise this year before we have a look at next week's games. Total attendance up 270,000.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic season in attendance and pretty much all the other metrics. Had a very solid ratings here. Broke the attendance record by some 275,000. It's been a very good year all in all.
And Sunday nights were good for attendances as well. As we have a look at the final ladder, it was a roller coaster of a season, wasn't it? It came down to the final weekend, and just so many permutations. I guess from a national perspective, you like the look of that. We've got, Adelaide involved, Perth involved, Sydney, Melbourne involved, Brisbane just missing out.
Yeah, coming into this weekend, 7 of the 8 games had a bearing on the final 8. The game just played was the only one that actually didn't have an impact on the final shape-up of the 8. And it played out across the course of the weekend. Some results, I guess, unexpected. I think people thought Hawthorn were a good show today, but Sydney played great football. So it wasn't shaped until the final game today at the Telstra Dome. And at one stage with the Bulldogs up at quarter time, we were rearranging things.
The national appeal will be tested on Friday night as we have a look at how next weekend will unfold. It's Port Adelaide and West Coast. No Melbourne team involved to kick off the final series. We start in Adelaide on Friday night. Was that because teams in the other games all played today?
Yeah, you see 3 of the 4 games see teams that played today under the collective bargaining agreement. All players have to have a 6-day break. So Port Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles, the only game we could play on Friday night. So that kicks off the finals. It'll be a fantastic game at 7:40 local time in Adelaide. We roll into the Hawthorn Adelaide game at Telstra Dome. That'll be a 2:30 game. Obviously, great game. Collingwood Sydney, 7:30 here at the MCG. And first against Fourth on Sunday, 2:45 here at the MCG.
All right, it's going to be a terrific weekend. Many thanks for joining us. Good luck for it and getting some record crowds across the finals.
Thanks, Quinton. Thanks for all your support.
Terrific. Here's what's coming up on Fox Sports AFL. The winners tomorrow night join me from 7:30 Eastern, followed by Jared, Mike and Robert on the couch from 8:30. I'll be along from 7:30 Thursday night with all the boys from teams Jace and Johnstone before the bounce on Friday night. All of the finals matches will be replayed here on Fox Sports AFL throughout the course of September. That wraps up our 88th and final live and exclusive home and away match for season 2007. Thanks to all of our hard-working behind-the-scenes team, particularly on Sunday nights. My thanks to Joe Taylor, our producer, director Jeremy Jones, and the executive producer of Fox Sports AFL, Rod Law, along with my regular weekly partner, Jared Healy, and all the team. From us to you, thanks for being there. Demon fans, enjoy this. Good night.
Has been a Fox Sports production.